They're on their feet at TD Garden.
Thank you, Boston, for making us your home for sports for the past 15 years. WBZ-FM at HD Boston 98.5. The Sports Hub, a Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
Patriots players are back out on the practice field yesterday after a player's day off. They were missing offensive lineman City So. Starting left tackle Verdarian Lowe is present but limited, along with Jonathan Jones and Josh Uchang, among others. Patriots open up the regular season Sunday in Cincinnati. Jamar Chase practiced for the Bengals yesterday but was listed as limited. Despite the apparent mismatch in this one, Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow says the opening game is never easy.
I mean, you have last year's tape that you can go and watch. You know, every team is different year to year, so you just have to be ready to adapt on the fly in these week one games and expect the unexpected, because there's going to be unscouted looks. There's going to be situations that pop up that maybe you haven't repped, so you just got to be able to adapt.
Patriots also announced yesterday they'll wear their red throwback uniforms for home games October 13th against Houston and December 1st against Indianapolis. The NFL's regular season begins tonight at Arrowhead Stadium with the two-time defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs hosting Baltimore. The Red Sox got swept at Citi Field by the Mets 8-3 last night. This is a 4-3 game heading to the bottom of the eighth, and then Kenley Jansen and Rich Hill combined to walk 5 hitters, including 3 straight with the bases loaded. Today's a day off, and then the Red Sox will play the historically bad Chicago White Sox at Fenway Park tomorrow night. Former Bruins forward Milan Lucic has signed a tryout contract with New Jersey. And in tennis, men's top seed Jannik Sinner won yesterday to move into the men's semifinals. And American Jessica Pegula upset women's top seed Iga Swiatek in the quarters. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off your drive-through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Now open in Raynham, Reading, and Braintree. I'm John Wallach at Boston Tilt for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
Get
There's the potential there for big stuff.
98.5 The Sports Hub app. Get the app.
Fred, hello. 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 Mm-hmm. Hello. Hello. Hello.
He's naked. He has a sword.
Oopity up with a football.
98.5 The Hub. Bruins are back from the West Coast.
Cocaine and hookers. Yes. Na.
Is it okay to use this for the radio?
Yeah. Welcome to the show, you sweet bitch.
What?
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Tom Goss is going to be in town. We are Toucher and Hardy. Welcome. It's the NFL season kicks off tonight, not the one in South Brazil.
No, for that one we have to wait.
No, that's on Peacock too. So, but I have
cool.
Peacock
That's
because
on
of
the
Love
Cock?
Island. It's on the Cock. I got the Cock because of Love Island. My daughter is big on Love Island. I think we've talked about this before. Love Island, not a lot of action. They like say something. So there are these people in this bungalow in Fiji. Not bungalow. They're in this like whatever the hell you call it. Like it's like a compound thing where they all sleep in the same room.
Is it a yurt?
No, it's nicer than a yurt. And they're all in it. And then there's various people like couple up, and then then someone gets removed, and they bring in new girls, and then they bring in new guys, and blah 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 blah. But like, say a guy kisses a girl, that's an entire episode. So like, there's so much. They're just sitting around this place. It's like kind of like Big Brother, but they're like hooking up. Like it's all designed to hook up, and they have games where they like make out and stuff, and they all have to sleep together. Couples have to sleep together in a bed. So, and you have to couple up. So like, it's a much more sexual one, but they stretch everything out to such a degree and it's become like a phenomenon apparently.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised, though, that's on Peacock, because I've heard of Love Island. I haven't watched it, but I know that's a show, and that's a big show for Peacock. It's
Whoever
big-
got them
big
on, whoever got them on. Well, it was huge in Britain because I guess the one in what'd you say?
for Peacock, or the cock as we call it. That's a big show for them. It's a big
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand what you're going.
6 versions only.
cock show. I mean,
that's what it is.
Absolutely. And well, the British one apparently was a sensation because they're just banging each other. Like,
Oh,
it's
really?
Like, no, like there's no doubt about it.
That's right. Rules in Europe are a little
Do
different.
you, no. But do you remember the first season of the Jersey Shore? Like there's footage of them like having sex under the covers. Like Vinny has sex with Snooki. JWoww sees the what is it called? The Prince Albert on Pauly D.
Yep.
Did you know Pauly D and the Prince Albert?
No.
And she sees that like they like bring girls back to their rooms. It's black and white, like it's a camera that films in the dark, but they get under the covers and they have sex.
Even the real world went there eventually.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I remember when the real world went to Vegas. That was
well, there was the girl that was just
Trishelle,
banging
I think was her name. She went at it like night one with another cast member.
Yeah, and then which is fine, but then Trishelle just got drunk every night and slept
it
with
got
another
boring
guy.
after about 3 episodes. But episode 1, like, oh, right, okay, now we're cooking with gas.
It's funny because God bless Trishelle's behavior because that's wonderful, but she was someone who looked really hot in the first episode, and by the end you were like, oof. All right, Trishelle, that's been a rough week in real world.
Oddly enough, she showed up on the Real World Road Route Challenge a couple of times. Yeah.
Oh, so my friend goes, I had sex. A good friend of mine that I've started talking to again from high school said, I had sex with this girl from the real world recently. And I'm like, which one? And he said the city, but it was a city they've done 2. And so I thought it was the first one. And I got all excited because it was one of like the first, like, let's say first 7 of them that I like watched religiously. And I'm like, which one? Like, because some of those people are older than me. But it turned out to be the second, and I didn't know who the person was.
Okay.
But he said that she was a wonderful young lady. He made love to her in Los Angeles. Oh. Okay. Did you notice how discreet I'm being about her identity?
It's well done.
Thank you. I mean, you'll have to find the one that lives in Los Angeles. This hour of Toucher and Hardy is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. And you can watch us every morning on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe. Because Goodell was at the U.S. Open 2 days ago while the Eagles and Packers were traveling 9.5 hours to Sao Paulo, Brazil. To have to sit in a hotel room and not be able to leave their rooms or leave the hotel.
No, they've said they're going to increase security, so they're fine.
That's
now.
right. That's a big story. They made sure all the news outlet got that.
But
They're
they said
beefing things up.
They said don't have your cell phone out of your pocket. I don't even know what that means.
Well, don't be stupid. Don't go walking around, like some rube talking on your cell phone in public. I mean, have some common sense. Don't go into the lobby of the hotel unless you're in a group of 6 or more. These are things that we should all practice, no matter where we are.
My question is this: are they targets because they're rich athletes, or if you are a tourist in Sao Paulo, Brazil, is it just you fly there and just stay in your hotel because you're gonna get robbed or killed?
A couple of articles I read yesterday tell me it's option B.
Okay, so it's just not a place that you want to travel.
It's not a place. Even Sao Paulo is apparently the largest. They have a population of like 11 million people.
Yeah.
It's the largest city in the entire southern hemisphere or something like that. But crime apparently, according to what I read, is so out of control that any tourist that goes there is in trouble.
Do you remember City of God? It's like a really good movie, and I believe it's set in Sao Paulo.
Sao Paulo.
My bad.
Yeah, there were 3 days. That's my cutoff.
Of what? Mispronouncing something?
Yeah. Day 3.
I cannot.
Okay.
Oh, it's in Rio de Janeiro, City of God. My bad. But they have.
It's one of those movies I always think I should have watched this by now because it is. I know it's supposed to be or is a really good movie. I've just never watched.
Well, beyond being good, it's like insane because where the conditions that these people live in, they're on this mountain. There are these shanty shacks, and there's no plumbing or irrigation. Like it's like just they're all the feces and all their stuff. You did it, not me. All the feces and stuff runs into the ocean. Like it's completely out of control. I don't even know if they've makeshift that electricity, and it's not like a little town. It's Rio de Janeiro. It's like right in the middle of it.
You remember the stories surrounding the Olympics when they held it there, and all the waste that was being dumped into the ocean.
Yeah,
that was a really big deal before the Olympics actually started there.
I mean, it's just almost like a forgotten. They just they just don't care about what's going. It appears to me. What do I know? I just know the movie. And that's the thing about Mexico City, is that, and Zolak went there and had no problems.
That's quite amazing. Actually.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah. He behaved himself.
No incident whatsoever.
No, they didn't have to steer him in the right direction. But they listen. We know our own. But I'll tell you this: is that I told you, I have a friend who got kidnapped in Mexico City. Got kidnapped in Mexico for real. And then I'm not going to get into the whole story, but he got kidnapped, sent to someone took over his car with his friend, his business associate, took him to like whatever, the jungle or whatever, let him out. They went like robbed him. They were like, okay, they took their car, their rental car. So they walked. They finally found a police station. They went to the police station. They said, hey, these guys, this is our rental car, And the cops said, get in the car. And they took them back to where they were, back to the jungle, and dropped them back off.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they were like, get away. Like, we don't want anything to do with you. Like, we're not helping you. Like, we're taking you back. And this is a Princeton, not that it matters, but this is like a Princeton graduate. He did his doctorate at Princeton. Like, he's not, some guy that's in vacuum sales. Like, he's not lying to me.
I don't know anything about it. I haven't looked into it. I haven't gone there. What little I know about traveling to, whether it's Sao Paulo or Mexico City, here's what I do know. My wife and a couple of her friends were going to do a trip last winter. Was it last winter or the winter before? I think it's last winter. And they were going to go to Mexico City. I said, what? And that was their plan for one of their birthdays. They had always wanted to go, and they were going to go to Mexico City. And I'm like, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. You guys are going to go somewhere, go to a resort, stay at the resort, never leave the resort. In my belief, that is how one travels to Mexico. When you're...
Unless you want to go to the pharmacia.
Right. And it went on long enough to where I was getting a little nervous waiting it out, and then it didn't happen. They ended up going somewhere else. And I very seldom do you have to pull the absolute trump card, but I was ready to do it. And we were talking about it like a month or two later, and she said something like, yeah, we were going to go to Mexico City, but I was like telling, friends of ours, I said, no, you weren't. I mean, I know you think you were, and you were talking like it was going to happen, but it was kind of like a look. It's like, oh, it's going to be like that. Well, that's how it was going to be. Like and again, I hadn't really investigated at all, but my gut just told me absolutely not. I mean, I don't know how bad it was going to get in my house and in my marriage if I said,
I'm sorry, you are forbidden.
I'm sorry, but it's like
you are forbidden to leave.
For the first time in 25 years, I was going to say,
women always take that.
This is the way it's going to be, and
I'm always fascinated when guys take it. Like, oh, honeydew. No.
Yeah, because neither one of us, I don't think, have ever done that to the other about anything.
I would imagine,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, because, no, it's a normal relationship, but it's like that. I'm like, if this is the deal breaker, so be it. Yeah. But you're not going.
Yeah.
That was not going to happen.
Right.
Well, it shows that you care.
That's the only reason. The only reason.
Well, of course, it shows that you care. There's no question about it. But it's funny about stuff like that. I was listening to Mad Dog, and he has this guy on, and he's from Tampa. But he's like, I always hear stuff like this. I think it's funny. He's like, he goes like, I took my wife out to dinner, Italian food. We were having all this wine, and then we went to go see this movie. I said, let's go see this movie. And we go to the movie, and I forget what it's called. He goes, and then it was terrible. It was terrible, dog. And we're walking out of the movie theater, and she won't talk to me. And she's got her arms folded, and we get in the car, and she said, what the hell are you doing to me? And I thought, just leave her. Like, just leave her. Sure. Like, she's that upset about a movie, like, leave. I'm telling you, it's not so bad.
Run.
Like, there's a point now. There's a point where I'm like, why would you put up with any of that? Just, it's not. I assure you, it's not bad. Like, I guess if you're like 70 or something, like, then you probably don't want to do anything because you don't want to die alone. But I mean, if you're not, like, if you're still in good health, it's not so awful. Like, you can just leave. Now, you were doing it out of a place of caring. That's understanding.
Or ignorance, right? It's like, I don't know, Hardy, you have no idea. It's
no, you could be ignorant and still caring.
Yeah.
You can be ignorant and still caring.
I may have been wrong,
sure,
but that was the hill I was willing to die on.
Absolutely. Well, it's not, like, completely unfounded. I mean, it is.
There's something to it.
Yeah, I mean.
Something tells me
you might have been overreacting, but it's not like you just, like, made it up.
Right.
Like, if you were like, I'm not letting you go to Detroit. I'd be like, all right, well, you're from there. But you know what I'm saying? I'd be like, that's ridiculous.
Right.
Or like, you're not going to New York City because of all the, da-da-da-da-da. Like, all right, like, relax. But, I mean, I think you were coming from a place of, that was a place of caring. It's just funny that how our culture has just normalized, like, horrible ball busting and just control. Like, just what am I gonna do?
I gotta do it. I have to. It's making me.
It's like, well, no, you don't. Like, just don't do it. Yeah, and she wouldn't talk to me after the movie. Oh, all right. Well, guess what? I don't want to be with you anymore. I want to be with someone who can sit through a bad movie and not get mad at me for suggesting it. Like, I made the movie.
It's your fault.
Like, I made the movie.
Yeah.
And then and he goes. The movie starts off with a topless woman running out of the woods being chased by a guy. And then he goes like, so my wife, and then Mad Dog's like, that could be a problem. That could be. I'm like, what world do you live in? Like you can't see breasts in front of your wife? Do you have sex through a sheet? What's going on? You're adults. I don't know. I'm telling you. If you're putting up with a lot of stuff, I'm telling you, it's not so bad. It's not. There's worse things in the world than you can get out of that thing. Don't worry about it. All right, we will be back in just a moment, Hardy, as we explore everything that happened last evening. Are you excited?
Very much so. Thank you.
Yeah, the ball's in your court, buddy.
Red Sox lost.
You know what? I did not know that. And that is the honest to God truth. I don't mean to brag, but I did not know that.
The entire story can be told pretty much in the first inning, but I'll tell it to you anyway.
All right, very good. We will have that for you in just a moment.
There's more?
There's more.
Okay. Well, John knows. All right, very good. We'll be right back.
Did you catch the game last night?
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. And Hardy, what's going on? You tell me. You go.
John Wallach is very upset with me because I somehow indicated that the Red Sox game, as they were finishing off their 3-game set with the Mets yesterday, was somehow over before it began. And that, that was my belief. That's kind of what I thought, just because of something silly happening in the first inning like this.
And Winker hits one to deep center field. Back goes Duran to the warning track. It's over his head. It's out of here. A grand slam for Jesse Winker. And the Mets take a 4-0 lead in the first inning. Jesse Winker brings home 4, and it's 4-0 New York.
So you hear that. You see the final score, 8-3. Red Sox lose, swept by the Mets. I ignorantly say something like, that game was over in the first inning. John Wallach said, Hardy, not so fast.
Not so fast, Hardy. It was a 4-3 game. Sox got 3 back. It was a 4-3 game going to the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Red Sox brought on their closer, Kenley Jansen, to keep it at 4-3 to give themselves a fighting chance in the 9th. Well, when you bring a closer, Fred, into a non-safe situation, what happens more often than not?
When you bring a closer into a non-safe situation,
yes.
They screw up.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. A single and 2 walks loaded the bases, and then Kenley Jansen walked in a run that made it 5-3. Bases still loaded, 1 out. Alex Cora takes Jansen out, brings in Rich Hell. He proceeds to walk the first two guys he faces with the bases loaded. Sox walk 5 guys in the inning, 3 consecutive guys with the bases loaded. Game over. That's when the game ended. So there.
Fair assessment.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Fair assessment. And it is now the rest of the story. Red Sox still get swept, though.
Yes.
And Alex Cora, hey, this has been the mantra. Oddly, ever since he got that contract extension, not that bad.
We're playing 500 baseball. I don't think that's good enough. We got to be better. Talking about the Royals and the Twins and everybody else, it doesn't matter. We're playing 500 baseball.
Oh, okay. That is the most critical I've heard Alex Cora be in a long time. Not good enough, he said. Finally. All right. Well, I agree with you, Alex Cora. What about your starter last night?
Home run was actually a really good pitch. It was just played off the plate down. Winker just extended down there and hit it out of the ballpark. He was off command-wise the first few hitters, but then after that, the stuff got better. Throw a split on the barrels, threw the slider for strikes. The sinker was really good. Gave us 5 innings.
That was Tanner Houck, who went 5 innings last night and had those 4 runs on 5 hits, 7 strikeouts over the 5 innings.
Are you a fan of, when was the last time you had a computer with a virus?
Oh, only on ESPN, though.
Okay.
And I don't know why, but you get that thing that pops up.
Yeah.
So back on your browser, just arrow back to the left.
Yeah.
That should.
Okay. And then it will always happen with ESPN?
Pretty much.
Okay, very good. Well, It's good to know.
Yeah, that's been happening to me for like a week.
All right, very good.
I know once
they invented Macs,
but
that kind of went away.
You almost got like that pang of nostalgia though when that thing pops up. You're like, ooh, a computer virus, neat.
I mean, seriously, like once Macs came out, when was the last time you had a computer virus? I don't know if you have Macs.
You got a really bad one once when somebody in your house was trying to download, I believe, the Paris Hilton tape.
Yeah, my wife at the time. Was interested in Paris Hilton because she was a female in her 20s, and so she didn't know anything, and so I anything about like the internet really. And someone had made me a computer to voice track a station in San Francisco, and so they sent me this computer. God knows what was in it, like what it was made, the guts were, but it was. The Alice, and the station was called Alice.
You were voice tracking
in San Francisco, yeah. And
while you worked at BCN or the Sports Hub?
No, 99X.
Oh, okay.
And I did Lexington and San Francisco.
Okay,
and,
but you still had the computer. I got it.
But the guy sent this computer, so that's the point is I don't know what the guts were.
Yeah.
And Stephanie called me and she's like, "Your computer's like not working." And I went, oh, okay, what happened? And she goes, well, all I did was there was a pop-up that came up saying, do you want to see the Paris Hilton sex tape? And she's like, I was I wanted to see what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I clicked it. And then all these other things started popping up, and I was clicking on them too. And then the computer just stopped working. When she had clicked so much stuff that the computer literally shut down. It just shut down. There was nothing on the screen. The computer just gave up. It was like you've done so much that there's no returning from this thing.
You've done so much damage.
You've done so much damage that it's just broken. And then but it was good because I sent it back to the guy, Sean. I sent it back to him and I said, look, my girlfriend was trying to see this Paris Hilton sex tape, because it wasn't even embarrassing because it was like such a national situation. I was just like, here. Like, it was almost an innocence to it. So I'm like, here. And the guy, they had to get me a new computer. She had literally just broken it. The thing gave up. It said there's way too many pop-ups. She had not learned. Meanwhile, some of us, I remember when I first moved here and they had the file sharing. Was it Kazam? What was the name of it?
Kazaa?
Kazaa?
I think it was Kazaa.
And then you could get porn. And so I remember when I lived in Brookline, that was when I lived in Boston, leaving for work when I did afternoons with a lot of porn downloading. So I'd come back and the porn would be downloaded. Those were innocent times.
Ready to go.
Well, but you had to download
Sure.
it, and you had to wait. So it meant much more to you than just.
You had to work for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It just helped.
And it was still novel.
Yeah, and it gave it a little time to get ready and appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, it's something to look forward to when you got home, like a home-cooked meal.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's talk about some Week 1 football here, as it will get going tonight as the Baltimore Ravens visit the Kansas City Chiefs. That game is both on NBC and Peacock. Tomorrow night's game from Brazil, that's only on Peacock. That's Packers in Philadelphia. But your New England Patriots will visit the Cincinnati Bengals Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock. Joe Burrow, being kind, talking about how tough things are going to be. Maybe he actually believes it, but it's more about the whole Week 1 situation more than anything else.
I mean, you have last year's tape that you can go and watch. Every team is different year to year, so you just have to be ready to adapt on the fly in these Week 1 games and expect the unexpected, because there's going to be unscouted looks. There's going to be situations that pop up that maybe you haven't repped, so you just got to be able to adapt.
Repping. You got to rep for the first week. What is up with Burrow transferring from OSU? Travis.
Joe Burrow also asked about having Jamar Chase back.
Joe, how nice was it to have Jamar Chase practicing with you guys today?
Yeah, great to have him back. Great player, a guy that we need to be our best. I know he's doing what he needs to do to be ready to go if need be.
Yeah,
if need be.
Yeah,
Isn't that it?
He was limited in practice yesterday. He came out in pads. So, yeah, I told you.
Anybody else, Burrow would have said, yeah, we need him. Glad he's back out there.
I told you
in the
that.
unlikely event that we need him.
I told you that I heard a Cincinnati guy 2 days ago say, yeah, the goal is to get him back in time for the Kansas City game.
I hear that and I'm like, oh man, it's just like the least amount of varnish you can put on it. That's just as close as saying we're playing a team that sucks in Week 1.
I don't think there's any way that he plays more than a handful of snaps in that game.
No. If this was a better team, you wouldn't have the phrase pitch count involved.
Yeah,
but you figure you put him out there for what, 10, 15 plays? Kind of ease him into it. There's no reason to really run him hard.
I think that you'll have him on the active roster. This is just a guess. That you'll have him on the active roster, and you'll go from there.
You start him, and then when you get up two touchdowns, 17 points, maybe you don't play him.
Yeah, the whole goal is to have him ready for weeks 2 and 5. We opened up with the Patriots. In between, we've got the Commanders and Panthers. So we need him for the Chiefs and Ravens.
Let's do this, though. Let's do this. Last year, they lost 24-3 to the Browns. in week 1.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, look. The Chiefs lost their opener last year. Yeah, it's not a foregone conclusion.
The Bengals lost to the Steelers 23-20 2 years ago.
Yeah.
In overtime. I mean, I can go back. I mean, they're not good on opening day.
Sure, but it's more along the lines of the quarterback saying, we got to get him ready if need be. Well, you would think your best offensive player, you would need him.
No, they don't need him.
I know, but to have the quarterback say that is really something.
No, there's no way they're going to lose that game. There's not a chance. That Cincinnati organization is something else, though.
Oh, God.
They don't own the stadium.
Felger and Maz are talking about the selling of the TVs yesterday.
Yeah, I heard some of that, like, big deal. I don't understand.
Well, it's just television. You in theory, you are the owner of $1 billion property. You are making more money than you know what to do with, and you're selling TVs.
I thought it was kind of nice.
A piece.
I thought it was kind of nice.
Just give them away. Who cares? It's $60. How much money are you going to gross by selling televisions?
I don't know, but I mean, an 80-inch TV for $60 is a good deal for your fans. What I liked is when I did hear, this is the part of the show I heard when Maz goes, why didn't you donate them to someone? Because I didn't want to. Like, that's the thing. Like, why didn't you donate it? Because I didn't want to. Because I wanted to sell them. How about that? Why don't you donate them? Ugh. Donate them to who? They're like fire department, so they have to hang them? Like, hey, here's an assload of TVs, fire department. Thanks so much.
So I don't know that you save yourself any kind of like mayhem by charging $60 versus giving them away. And because that would be an argument. It's like, oh, you're going to have an absolute free-for-all if you just give away 80-inch TVs. Well, for $60, you're pretty much giving them away.
Okay, this was a story that happened, I believe, like a while ago, and it's just coming out now. I don't think it took over Cincinnati. Like, I don't think that was like the biggest news story in Cincinnati. I think it came out in Pro Football Talk. Yes, I mean it's not from like a month ago or last week. This is a story from like at least a few months ago that's just being talked about now. I don't know. Maybe I'm on an island, but I didn't think it was a big deal.
July 9th.
Yeah. All right. So, okay, a month ago. I mean, I don't think it like took over the world, but what do I know? I didn't think it was a big deal. If you want to sell something, sell something.
Oh, back on June 1st, they sold over 200 televisions. They're going to sell 150 more back on July 13th. Numerous sizes on sale, various discounted prices. And yeah, the between the 56-inch to 85-inch TVs were $60. And then if you wanted a 24 to 39-inch TV, those were $30. And it was a scale going,
Yeah, I'm not paying $30 for a used 30-inch TV. No. And I mean, but it was $60 for an 80-inch TV is a good deal. I'll take that. Anyway, I didn't think it was that big a deal. I mean, they sell seats from Turner Field. I mean, you go to a barber shop and they got seats from, old Foxborough Stadium and stuff. I mean, what the hell's the difference?
Old Boston Garden, too.
Yeah, I mean, they sell literal crap. Like, they sell... I had a friend whose dad had pieces of the Michigan turf as coasters. I mean, they sell a bunch of garbage. I bought my father something that had dirt from the infield of when the Cardinals won the World Series back in 2006.
Yeah, that has some sentimental value.
All right, John, but like you understand what I'm saying. Like, I mean, what's dumber to buy? Me buying a microscopic amount of dirt from an infield, or someone's paying $60 for an 80-inch TV? What's dumber? I got news for you. I'm dumber for buying that little piece of dirt. A coaster made of the University of Michigan field? I mean, dude, we buy a bunch of dumb stuff. We all do as sports fans. The TV's practical. Out of everything that you buy and all the crap, a TV's more practical than my hat. Or our hats. I'm wearing a Tiger hat. A TV that I bought from the Tigers for $60 is way more practical than the $80 I paid for this hat. I mean, come on. What are you talking about here? People are buying PSLs so they had the right to buy season tickets, and you're an ass for buying a TV.
The impractical part is transporting the TV, which I was told the last time we moved that we were dumb for taking our TVs off the walls and trying to move them to the new house. They said, you know what? A lot of people don't even do that anymore. They leave them up because at least one, if not more, are going to get broken, and you're better off just buying new ones. You see what they cost now. Unless you're like some crazy TV person, replacing a 65-inch TV is not going to set you back thousands of dollars.
You know what
It's going to be $350, and you're going to spend that, 2-3 times throughout your house if you're really into big TVs everywhere?
I have two TVs. I splurged on two things when I moved. I wanted a bigger house than the one I lived in. And then I wanted one gigantic TV.
And what's the gigantic one size?
85 inches.
Whoa.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Nice.
It doesn't even seem that big, to be honest with you.
That's
85-inch TV is pretty big. Pretty big.
I mean, it wasn't $2,000. It was probably
no, it's like $8. Like
no, it was over $1,000.
Is that okay?
Because then you got to get a speaker and everything else for it. It was probably $2,000. It would probably the whole kit and caboodle was $10,000. $10,000, $2,000. I'm sorry. Yeah, those were the two things. I'm like, I'm not living in some apartment with crap. Now, what do I like? I like my TV, and I like my space. I said I'm getting a bigger place, and I'm getting even if it's by a foot. And I'm getting a big ass TV, and we only use one of the TVs because of the internet and everything, you know.
Sure.
All right, so we'll be back in just a moment. Something crazy happened yesterday.
You better believe it did. I never thought I'd see it,
and never thought I'd see the day. All right, we'll be back. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
Patriots are missing starting left guard Sidney So at practice yesterday as game one of the regular season approaches. They will visit Cincinnati on Sunday. The Bengals had hold-in wide receiver Jamar Chase at practice yesterday. He was listed as limited for rest. The NFL's regular season begins tonight. Baltimore will visit Kansas City. Red Sox got swept by the Mets 8-3 at Citi Field. They're now at .500 for the season for the first time since mid-June. They've lost 5 straight and 10 of 13. Their next game is at home against the White Sox tomorrow night. And former Bruin Milan Lucic just signed a professional tryout contract with the New Jersey Devils. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
Listen to it, laugh at it, get mad at it, agree with it.
I tried to join Snapface, but I couldn't find it. I decided this was a good place for me to land, so I could talk to you and share what I'm up to, because there's a lot going on. So here I am. Hello, Instaface. See you soon.
Is that real?
No,
But what he's saying real?
Oh yeah, that's that. What he was saying is unedited.
Yeah. And this is a man they're going to put talking on television
in 5 or 6 different places.
Did you see that thing with him and Patricia?
Yep.
That was riveting. He's so bad at it, which is shocking. By the way, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, making every moment more with FanDuel. He's so bad at it that which is happening more and more often to me. He's so bad at it, I stopped paying attention. Like when something's so bad that it's not even funny anymore, then that's a real situation.
Over the past few months and not being with a team, I haven't had the opportunity to express my thoughts at a moment's notice. So now I'm changing that.
Yeah, by reading scripts poorly. In the who wrote the Instaface joke?
I tried to join Snapface, but I couldn't find it.
What hack put that dumb joke in there? And then they taped it and put it up. Like what did they get a nice little chuckle out of that? And I don't care about Belichick. He's terrible. He's not good at talking.
I decided this was a good place for me to land, so I could talk to you and share what I'm up to.
And everyone who says he's good it's so ridiculous. He gets so much more leash than like anyone else. Anyone else makes a minor gaffe or, how many announcers? Everyone screws on, like, screw Joe Buck. He sucks. Does he? Does Joe Buck suck and Belichick's good? That's where we're at now is broad. Joe Buck sucks, but Belichick's good. Okay, very good. Aikman sucks. Oh, but Belichick's good. Okay.
Because there's a lot going on.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. You got to know where he is. He's on a ring cam. I wonder if these selfies are always taking in Nantucket with his 24-year-old beau.
I would tune in if he just wandered around the studio shirtless and did the analysis.
If they had a reality show,
great.
Oh my God, John! Now you're talking.
Yeah.
If they had a reality show of him and that girl in Nantucket prancing around,
that'd be great.
Oh! If there was a streaming service that cost $100 a month, and the only show was Belichick and that 24-year-old, I would watch it. I would pay for it.
Honey, you need
gladly.
to get on Instagram. You need it. This is a great way to connect with your new audience.
I'd sit my daughter down and I go, watch this. And I go, don't be this person.
Bill drunk on a Saturday night.
I don't care, drunk or sober. I don't care what he's doing. They could sit there. They could not be talking. Just seeing them for a half an hour sitting together, and just
forces them to watch the Jersey Shore.
Just the sickness required.
I tried to join Snapface, but I couldn't find it.
She put her number in her text. He put his number in her textbook. And then she was a big philosophy student. Oh, yeah, where? Bridgewater State.
No.
Bridgewater State. She's a real... You couldn't understand her intellectualism. Oh, yeah, where? She's studying at Oxford? Oh, no. She's at Bridgewater State.
Well, I hope he's very happy personally. It seems like he's found a new outlet for his creativity. And he'll just he'll share everything that's going on, and that way people can see him on Pat McAfee and answering questions in a way that Pat McAfee said, I've never heard a comprehensive analysis breakdown. That's maybe the best I've ever heard in my life.
Well, it's two guys that suck at broad.
I've ever heard.
It's two guys that suck in broadcasting in exactly opposite ways, and I actually prefer Belichick. There's like a try hard over trying which is terrible. A terrible, like vomiter, which is Pat McAfee. And then there's Belichick, just that doesn't have a personality. And by the way, that's the only reason that really the age thing is so funny to me, It's not even the age thing. Because, like, if Mick Jagger was dating that girl, again, like, I would be like, oh, right, I can understand. Like, this guy's got this charisma and he's in front of, like, 80,000 people being a rock star. I could understand why you would be attracted to that regardless of the age. But Belichick is like my father. It would be like my father banging a 24-year-old. That I mean, it's insane. It's so funny. He has no personality. Oh, you don't know he has a great personality behind the scenes. Nah, I don't think so.
Hello, everyone.
So, yeah, like, no, I don't really think that that's the case. So the idea of those two together, and that he signed her text, he put his number in her textbook, and then they said, you have to know how smart she is, and she went to Bridgewater State. All of this is hysterical to me. I can't tell you how funny it is.
I think we need to remix the video of him on the porch and the kind of half turn to the camera.
Surprised to see me here?
Yes, we were
Very much, yes.
He's at her place. I'm not letting you know where I live, honey.
I'm drunk and disoriented.
Well, I am too.
What the hell happened to my life?
He's getting back into coaching everybody.
He's got, what, 5-6 TV jobs that pay him what? Total.
I don't know.
I saw
$5? Underdog Fantasy can't be coming across.
No. I bet you that. No, in all seriousness, I bet you that the fantasy companies pay a ton.
Really?
Because they're trying to get like noticed.
So I saw one article I read yesterday. It added up everything, and they said like a fair estimate of what he's going to make this year is $10 million.
Okay,
and he deserves it because of his name, but he's not going to be good at it.
No.
Like, there's a difference between I get giving Belichick that. And then I don't $10 million for Belichick if I'm like some gambling company that wants my name mentioned. That's worth it. Like like that's worth it to me. There's a difference between that and paying Brady $100 million to go call football games. Well, go ahead.
That was my point. My point is he's got 5 or 6 jobs. He's cobbling together a lifestyle. Whatever. $10 million. Do you think it bothers him that Brady makes $250 million or $300 million for one job?
Yes.
And he's killing himself for 10?
Yes.
Yes.
But what he's doing is the equivalent of Mike Tyson or Pete Rose shaking hands at a casino. Like, you know how like I don't know Jack Dempsey, but Larry Holmes would be like at a casino shaking hands.
The toughest part of it is, and I'm sure he has people for this, but like keeping everything straight, because he does have like 3-4 things he's got to do every week now, as opposed to Brady, who's got, I know he's got all these different things, but really he has one job now. Brady has one job now, and that's to call games on Fox. Bill's got 3 crappy little jobs that has to be available for at different times and places.
Well, you know why he's got the 3 or 4 crappy jobs is because no one hired him to do a pre or post, I would assume. I don't think he turned it down. I mean, obviously, right?
Oh, no. And also, he's probably not – Fred, he's not committing to anything long-term because this is the bridge year.
Sean Payton did the pre and post.
Fred, this is a bridge year. He's going to be a head coach again next year.
It doesn't matter. You can be a studio analyst. I mean, Urban Meyer, Sean Payton. I mean, a lot – Jason Garrett. I mean, there's a million guys that have been studio. It's the job to have to get back into coaching. I just think Belichick's so bad at it that they wouldn't commit to it. You're just committing to him for his name, and he deserves it. I mean, he succeeded so much in his prior career that his name is worth a lot of money, and he's trading on that. That's fine. But the idea that he's going to be any good at it is ludicrous. He's going to be bad. All right, we'll be right back. Speaking of great broadcasters, Gary Tanguay was doing something or other last night, and apparently we have audio of it. We'll be back in
He was doing serious sports talk.
Surprised to see me here?
Yes, we were.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. All right, we'll be back.
When you choose Blue Moon, everything becomes brighter. Every sip of
Sports Hub, the Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
Patriots regular season begins Sunday in Cincinnati, and it's beginning to look like the starting left side of the offensive line will not be there. Projected starting guard City So missing from practice yesterday. Tackle Vidarian Lowe listed as limited after both missed practice on Monday. The team back out there today and tomorrow. As for the Bengals, the big story is the hold-in of top wide receiver Jamar Chase. He did participate in practice yesterday, although he was listed as limited. Patriots also announced they'll wear their red throwback uniforms for home games October 13th against Houston and December 1st against Indianapolis. The NFL's regular season begins tonight just outside of Kansas City. Chiefs will host Baltimore. In baseball news, the Red Sox got swept by the Mets.
Swinging a high fly ball, pretty well hit to left center. Durant going back onto the track, at the wall, he jumps. It is gone! A grand slam!
That is Mets radio. Jesse Winker's big hit in the bottom of the first inning was a big part of an 8-3 win over the Red Sox. Sox have dropped 5 in a row. They're back at 500. They'll have tonight off. They're back home tomorrow night to play last place Chicago. San Francisco has signed Gold Glove third baseman Matt Chapman to a 6-year, $151 million contract. And last but not least, former Bruin Milan Lucic just signed a tryout agreement with the New Jersey Devils. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Boston Prolotherapy. Don't let joint pain keep you off the court, course, or trail. Eliminate that pain with Dr. Franke at Boston Prolotherapy. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports. 98.5 to Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
Boston's best sports talk. There's an app for that. Download the Sports Hub app for loads of stuff. Absolutely free. Connect with the shows, get podcasts, and more. Get it where you get your apps. Or at 985sportshub.com.
Now, more Tuncher.
Go ahead, Jason. Go ahead.
So I have an interesting question. So it's Christmas time in Nantucket, and Bill is there with his girlfriend. Invites the whole family over. Steve shows up. He's got his mullet glistening, standing straight up. He's got his little pheromones out. Now, she's sitting there, and she's looking at Steve, the young calf. She's already had the old bull Bill.
Right.
Now, which one?
Go ahead.
No, I know. Steve says, and she sees me with my shirt off, with my chest pubes all the way down to my ball fro. And now I want the young bull. Yeah, I understand.
Well, Belichick, as we know, is hairless because we saw him on the ring cam, shirtless.
Surprised to see me here?
I mean, just put yourself in a situation. I mean, they're human beings. Put yourself, and it's not his responsibility to kowtow to his adult kids. But I mean, I'd imagine it's not the most pleasant thing. I mean, they still have a mom, and I don't think it's the most pleasant thing that he's dating a girl significantly younger than them.
Far be it for me to get inside the brain of a woman or anyone who is attracted to either one, but I have trouble getting to a place where I find Steve Belichick more attractive than any other man.
Yeah. I don't think. Yeah, there's not some young stud sitting there. I don't even know what Brian Belichick looks like. So Steve, but maybe he's very handsome. But again, I don't have any moral. Look, it matters, but I don't have any moral problem with it. And it's not even Belichick's responsibility. His kids are adults. It's not his responsibility to kowtow to their wishes. Whatever makes him happy, but it doesn't make it any less funny. I do want to read this email. It's from Joey. Freddie No Pockets. I have 2 degrees from Bridgewater. Bag on Belichick all day. I'm here for it. Let BSU Bears live, though. Joey BS MBA. My point remains. Come on, people. Follow me. The point is this. Is that I'm just giving you my reaction. When they said he was on a first class, he was in first class next to this lady. And this was when the woman's old boyfriend was talking. Remember, and he was 60. And he was like, she's so brilliant. She's so brilliant. And they were talking about philosophy in these great concepts. And he was fascinated by her intellect and knowledge. And in fact, he left his number and name in her philosophy textbook. So brilliant. And then you're like, whoa, was she studying, abroad? Was she
Oxford?
Oxford. Was she at Columbia? I mean, was she getting a doctorate from Harvard? And then they're like, no, she was a cheerleader at Bridgewater State. And then you're like, well, my point, she's just like any of us. That's really my point. It's not. I'm not backtracking either. I swear to God, I'm not. If you went to Bridgewater State, come on, you get it. Come on. I went to Rollins. It's not Harvard, right? Like I got waitlisted at Hardy School, and that's not even the good one. It's Michigan State. I'm not but
I'm not. Everybody got into Michigan State. I did.
You're a little bit older than me. Maybe things changed. I got waitlisted. Now. I did not get turned down.
The admission standards changed a lot in those 4 years.
Well, who knows? I mean, they maybe had some success on the football field. I mean, come on, follow me, people. You understand what I'm saying? You thought the same thing when they said she's this huge intellectual and that she will enrapture you with her philosophy. And then there's a picture of her in a Bridgewater State cheerleading outfit. It's funny. Come on. Come on. Even if you're Bridgewater State, you got to think it's funny. Probably not. But
No. No.
I get it if you're pissed. But, but if you went there, come on. I mean, come on, guys. Can we have a little fun nowadays? If you said, and she went to Rollins, I'd be like, yeah, all right. You get it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, All right. Gary Tanguay was on. What was he on? I don't even know what's going on.
WBZAM.
Yeah.
Doing the night show.
Yeah, night shift. Night calls.
Mm-hmm.
You might have sit on a towel, ladies, because his voice isn't going to get any higher.
At the very least, this could take her mind off of her pain for a few hours.
Published author. Intellectual. You want to talk about an intellectual? You can come see me in Emerson. Give my classes to other people. Hey, Wallach, come teach.
In the news.
I'll just sit here for 45 minutes. And
I'll
finish up with the last 10.
Yeah.
Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, I'm just going to sit here.
Gary, I'm sorry, your guest lecture canceled today. You're going to have to do the class yourself.
What the
Facts of Life just came out on Netflix. I don't have time to sit there and teach.
I have a movie to film. Class is canceled.
Well, I got to get in Mindy Cohn's mind. She's got a new movie coming out that I'm auditioning for. I got to get in Blair's head. All right. I just saw Mindy Cohn, by the way, on a thing.
What a pull that is.
She said they were going to get the group back together.
Oh.
And one of the girls mucked the whole thing up.
Oh.
And I think it was Kim Fields, is my opinion.
What?
Yep.
Tootie?
She's the most famous out of all of them. You figure she'd be the most demanding one. All right. So Gary was on WBZ. Now, is this sports or is this?
No, it's
this
not.
Hard-hitting news talk.
Okay, so this is like opinion. He's not just like reading the news. I'm sorry, I don't listen to BZ.
Nightside with Dan Ray is the
Okay.
name of the show, and he was doing it last night.
Okay, so the show, I'm sorry, because I think I'm like the audience. So the show, and I'm not dismissing WBZ. I'm sure it's great, and they put a lot of effort into it, and I hope they succeed. But at night, it's a political talk show where people call in.
You got it.
Okay,
Yes.
very good. Because the morning is news, right? Okay,
Yes.
Here we go.
Welcome back to Nightside.
All right, kids. First thing, clear your throat on mic. Rule number 1, Emerson. Make sure you're clear. Do it right when the mic turns on. All right? Kapow. Already in your head. Here we go. Yeah. That's awesome. He teaches it. Gary's the best. It's not even a big deal. It's just funny that it's the first thing we played. It's not even. I do it, dude. I do it all the time. It's just funny. that
But
he's-
you're not teaching.
I'm not teaching at Emerson, and it's funny because it's like his one show that he's done. Gary, I really like Gary. I'm not kidding.
I can say.
I feel like I have to
I'm
qualify
friends
all
with
of
Gary. I'm literally friends with him.
this. Yeah, you're friend, and I would be friends with him if I hung out with him. I would gladly be friends with him. I like him a lot.
Oh God.
All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Come on, that's funny.
I just see if we can go 10 seconds.
All right, I'll promise.
All right.
I will try.
Okay.
All right, I will try my best. Here we go.
Welcome back to Nightside. I'm Gary Tanguay for Dan Ray. Look, I'm not. I don't know politics like Dan Ray. I'm not going to pretend to. All right, so I misspoke about it's the economy, stupid. I made a mistake, but I'll tell you this: Donald Trump could have done a lot more to stem the tide on that insurrection. That was an aggressive maneuver that cost the life of a citizen.
You know,
you want me to get my facts straight. You got to do the same thing.
you heard Ashley Babbitt.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, boy. This one's fired up.
Yeah, you can't get me away. You couldn't pay me enough to do the political.
Stepped into the Thunderdome, my friend.
You're bad enough doing this.
But when you get the fast, rapid breathing of a zealot, now you're in trouble.
Yeah, because you're talking to real lunatics at night on a like a political talk station, like real lunatics.
Yeah. Well,
like no joke, probably certifiable lunatics.
You gotta let her cook, though. What does she have to say? Maybe she's got some good ideas.
You heard Ashley Babbitt. No, you haven't, right?
No, I have not.
No, of course you haven't. No, because you listen to the left-wing media. You're totally brainwashed with them.
Oh, yeah, that's me. I got to get out of here. Oh, my God. What?
All right, kids, here's the deal. Bag out halfway through the first shift.
Jesus.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Who needs it? Who needs it? Can you imagine the emails they get? If we get the emails, or certainly I get the emails I get, can you imagine the emails that those political guys get? I mean, they have to want to get them fired every single day. Every single day, there's got to be at least 100 people saying to fire them because they dared had an opinion.
No, I have not.
No, of course you haven't. No, because you listen to the left-wing media. You're totally brainwashed with them.
Oh, yeah, that's me. I got to get out of here. Oh, my God. What a headache. I don't know how Dan Ray does it. Jesus. Rob, help me. I got to take a break. We'll be back on WBZ.
And
Gary,
jabbed.
Gary,
and scene.
Gary, you were supposed to go 11 minutes there. How long did I go? 14 seconds.
Jesus.
Wait, you mean to tell me that these are weirdos calling in? And I got to get my facts straight? They're going to call me out on getting something wrong? Now, it's not like I read the paper. All right, lesson learned. Emerson kids, make sure you read the paper before you get on the political station. Or at least watch the news. Gary. Very good.
Here. Oh, my God. What a headache.
I actually respect him for that. He goes, I don't need it. They're probably not paying him very much. He's like, who needs it?
By the way, Ashley Babbitt was one of the women that was shot at the January 6th thing. There is a community on QAnon that says Babbitt is still alive and that her death was a false flag operation.
And that's what the caller was inferring, to your knowledge?
Who knows? Who knows? There's a lot of controversy. Well,
controversy
surrounding Ashley Babbitt.
Fortunately, we don't have to discuss such matters. For I don't know the QAnon people, I do not have to engage with. So I should so choose. All right, we will be back in just a moment. Something happened, and it's funny because we all saw it, the three of us, and we all had the same opinion. And I'm like legitimately outraged about something, and I'm pretty pissed off at the New York Times and ESPN. I'm sort of pissed off at everyone about this. It's setting a dangerous precedent, and I think it will affect even you people listening that are not a public figure, because this guy's not a public figure. Anybody, this is going to affect everyone. We gotta, as a society, hit the brakes a little bit, and I will explain. We will explain it as a collective in just a moment.
Touch.
Looking at ESPN. ESPN. I like ESPN.com. Some people don't, but president of content, isn't this interesting? Like, this is not what he must have done something terrible. And you go, Entin was shown talking about players being homophobic and said some of them are dumb as hell. And you go, what in God's name? Did he get drunk and take over the Instagram of the Commanders and start saying all these terrible things about people? What happened? Oh no, it was in a video. Oh, was he in a public meeting? Did he get into a press conference and start espousing about all these player problems? No. It was taken by a hidden camera by O'Keefe Media during what appeared to be a date with a woman who works for the company. And so what the O'Keefe Media, which is a big right-wing media thing, it's special interest groups. They've done this before.
OMG is what he calls his outlet, and American Swiper, which is a play on American Sniper.
Right.
But if you're going to be one of these, soldiers working for OMG, I believe you are then called an American Swiper.
So he's been accused. He's done this to NPR before. He's been accused of doctoring videos. He had nonprofits that they made not nonprofits anymore. He's been removed from jobs, but he's got like millions. He's got something going on because he's got millions of Twitter followers, and apparently this is the thing. So whatever. What this guy does, this woman got on Hinge, and which is a dating app, and I don't know how this all happened, but I guess the vice president of content for the Commanders, I don't know if she went on a date with him for real and then found out what he did, because they went on a few dates. So they're at dinner. He's on a date with her, and she's secretly filming him.
Yes, the videos were taken during 2 dates in June in Washington. O'Keefe said that Entin and the woman who filmed the interactions met on the dating app, and I got to believe that she sought him out specifically for this purpose.
I don't know, because he's got such a random job. Like, I guess maybe she was on Hinge and saw that, but I don't know if he'd put on Hinge. Maybe he would, because it gives him value. But whatever the reason, he met her on Hinge. He thought that this was a woman that he was going to date, and she's filming him. And for all of you out there, you might have a job that's very similar to this. He's not some big shot. He happens to work for an NFL team, but you may happen to work for Johnson & Johnson. You may happen to work for an entity that's very, very large. And if you're all of a sudden getting taped saying stuff at dinner, here's what he said. I don't even know if it's important, and I don't even know if we should play it. I don't want to play it. So, but I'll play. I guess I will play it. Here we go. Here's what he had to say.
Your description of the Commanders players.
Over 50% of our roster, right, is either white religious, and God says gays. Another big chunk is very low-income African-American that comes from a community that is inherently very homophobic.
So she obviously has asked him about the gay values of the NFL. Like, she's obviously set him up to talk about gay values, because this O'Keefe media, this is what they do, is like they'll have someone from NPR on and they'll like ask him a bunch of questions to like get him into a situation where they say something. But he's on a date, and she obviously said, hey, this, by the way, isn't like the total raw audio of it. This is they're cutting things up. But she obviously asked him about how the NFL is about gay players, and he said a lot of the white players are religious, and a lot of the African-American players, he used the word African-American too, the term African-American, are from low-income areas and are homophobic. Okay?
Would you say most people who work at the NFL, with you as the exception of your former boss, would you say that they're just not very smart?
There's just obviously a spectrum, but I've met some very, very smart people.
What about, like, the players?
There's some that are, like, dumb as all hell. Most of the fans, I would say, are...
So she asked if he thinks the players are smart. I mean, Jesus Christ. And then, I mean, he's out having drinks with this lady. And then she asks about the fans, and he says, he says this.
They are high school educated alcoholics.
So they're like lower class people.
I mean, setting them up.
I hate to use that term. I would just say mouth breathers. I know, it's way worse. My job is to sell hope to the fans, right? I need them buying tickets. When there's not much hope to sell, I still gotta dig deep to find it.
Why do you think there's not much hope to sell right now?
Because we had like pipes leaking sewage on our fans in the middle of the game, and I have to put out a social post saying like, it wasn't sewage water, we promised. That is state-run media.
Right. So what he says is unforgivable. It's the worst thing ever. And so what happened? So what? And then if you read, I got two big problems with this. One is the biggest. If you're ESPN or the New York Times, why are you reporting on this? This is insanity. Okay? If you have a job, any job, and someone tapes you in a personal conversation and it's released on the internet, edited up, or transcribed, I got news for you. No one's on your side. Everything you say, everyone's going to white knight over, because when they read it on the internet, they feel infallible, and it was, of course, something they'd never say. And it's completely unfair. And when you're put in that situation, which you could be, because you could be this guy, guess what? The internet's not going to be behind you. And you're going to have to deal with thousands and thousands of people crapping on you because you were having a discussion with some girl you wanted to have sex with over drinks while she was secretly taping you and setting you up. And now that the New York Times and ESPN, it's on the front page. This O'Keefe media, whatever, it's what the guy does. People will exist like this. So he releases this video out. You sue him. People have sued him before. You sue him. The guy's going to sue him from the Commanders. I mean, there's no way that this is legal. So he's going to probably sue him. Who knows if he'll win. But so now this guy, he's got to shut down all his stuff. And now this guy, for having 2 dates with the lady, has got to sit there and deal with this fallback, because these O'Keefe people are these like lunatic, right wing, like crazy people, just the same as there's lunatic left wing people that come after me. I'll tell you, and I grew up in it. I've been, since I was younger, been doing this, so you get sort of accustomed to it. This guy's just got some job. You could be him. You could be him. If you're a girl, you're a boy, you could be him.
Yes, you could be the Commanders' content creator and find yourself in this position, because this O'Keefe guy, he does webinars teaching people how to become American swipers. And this is what he says in one of his descriptions. One of the most effective ways to access these people and the people they want are powerful people who they want to expose powerful people keeping secrets for the wrong reasons. One of the most effective ways to access these people is to swipe right on dating apps. Some of our biggest and most impactful hard-hitting journalism has come from undercover journalists meeting subjects this way.
Impactful. Very.
It's undercover journalism. So this is what they teach you in school. This is undercover journalism.
This is Northwestern stuff.
Many of you have expressed interest in doing this type of journalism. Now's the time to do something about it. On our latest webinar, you'll need everything you know to get started, and we may even publish and pay for your work. Oh, you might even get paid for doing this, as opposed to just going on dating apps and swiping right and then recording private conversations and then putting them out there. And
if you read these people on Twitter, it's as if they, like, when they have personal conversations with people or when they're talking, not in a business or public area, that they would never say anything that would spark any controversy. I mean, the woman asked him about the homophobia players. First of all, so it obviously doesn't even matter what he says. But if a girl that you're, like, trying to charm goes like, oh, you work for the NFL, and you start talking about, you're going to talk like you know Roger Goodell. You're going to say a bunch of stuff to try to impress her. I mean, you're not lying or anything, but you're you're trying to present your best self. You're trying to be charming and funny. It's a date. Like, you're trying to do this. She's expressing interest in your job, so you're talking about it. The guy seems relatively smart. Like, he's not saying anything, whatever what he's saying. I mean, if you're offended by it, good. I didn't say it. But the idea that now this is like what ESPN and the New York Times runs with, that's great. That's great. This nobody got taped on what he thought was a date, set up with questions, and now his life is temporarily ruined. I mean, it's not going to be ruined forever. I'm telling you, please tell him if you know him. This will get better at a certain point. But we are losing control. We are really, really, really losing control. And I've heard people far smarter than me pontificate about this. We are in an experiment with media right now, with everyone having access to just put out whatever they want, where we're failing. We are failing. There are no checks and balances for anything anymore. It's the Wild West, and what could have been, if we were a better species, a great place for free ideas that united the world, has become the opposite. And we can't handle it. It's an experiment we can't handle. It's effing up our kids. It's effing up us. And now we're just ruining lives. And it's not just like the O'Keefe guy can do whatever he wants. Like, all right, fine. And then you'll have to pay the consequences and sue people. And if you can live with yourself and you think this gets you into heaven, God bless you. But you're going to put this on ESPN? Because none of us would have known about this if it was just on this O'Keefe media.
Right.
It's the ESPN and the New York Times reporting on it. And then I went to so I go, who's O'Keefe Media? I've never heard of it. And he's bragging about how the New York Times put about it, because that's the goal. Again, first of all, it wouldn't be fair if it was Roger Goodell on a date and they were taping him without his knowledge. But this is just a dude with a job who happens to work for a big company. And he's not like, the coach or anything like that. This could be you. You could work at Valvoline and, then all of a sudden someone tapes you, you say something, and then they release it, and then Valvoline, they go, look at what this person at Valvoline does, that Valvoline makes $10 billion a year, and look at what their people are saying.
Well, it's more likely to be you, Fred, because you're the one on the dating apps, and you're the one who's going to get catfished into one of these situations.
Mm-hmm. Believe me, it's occurred to me.
Yeah.
Now it's occurred to me.
Have you ever...
Now, you know what I'm going to do? If I'm on a date, I'm going to go, are you taping me? I swear to God, I'll go, are you taping me?
And she's going to say, no.
Okay. And then
what? And if she has been taping you the whole time, what recourse do you have?
I'll sue him for $10 million. And then I won't have to work anymore.
Who are you going to sue? Sue everybody.
O'Keefe Media.
Well, but she's an independent contractor.
No,
he's doing webinars.
Yeah, but if it's published by O'Keefe Media, then they are ultimately responsible, I would imagine.
I don't know if just asking if you're being recorded is your ultimate safety.
I thought it was like if you ask someone if they're a cop.
No, I don't think you have to.
By the way, it doesn't have to be a date, ladies and gentlemen. for your edification. You could just be out with people, and they could be taping you. I mean, it doesn't necessarily need to be a date.
Great.
While that does affect me, it does affect married people, too, that aren't cheating on their spouses, because I believe that you're sometimes in social situations that aren't, your belief is they're not being taped. And anything you say to someone, I can only tell you this, anything you say in a relaxed conversation, when transcribed or taped and put out to a public audience, is going to come off where they hate you. Okay? Because there's no context. And everyone wants to be pissed. And it's one thing when it happens to people like on the radio or television, because we know we're being on the radio and television, and there's a lot of times, most of the time it's a bunch of garbage that people are upset about. But the idea that now you can't meet someone in public and have a natural conversation without fear of massive repercussions no matter what you say. I don't care if he went on and on and on about being in the Ku Klux Klan. It's ludicrous that this is the standard of journalism now, and this is the world that we live in. Everyone's comfortable with this. Well, I never say anything. Oh, you do. You do. Yeah. You do.
Someone lists your text messages to your friends.
I swear to you, even if you're a reverend of the highest moral fiber, anything that you say casually about any topic that people disagree on, when transcribed or put on the internet, is going to get met with a negative reaction, a swell of negative reaction. And it's going to happen to all of you. All of you. Even say you're the most liberal person in the world, and you're sitting there and you're like, this guy, and you're like, oh, the NFL's not fair to gay people. He's getting fired. He's suspended. So guess what?
He's going to be.
Hey, freedom fighters. Hey, this guy's a right-wing lunatic, and all you left-wing lunatics too. All of you. You're all saying stuff all the time that's going to piss a bunch of people off.
But what I don't understand is who they're trying to take down with this. Like, what is
That's why it's scary.
It's like they just want everything to burn.
Well,
it's
selfish. You said it yourself earlier. It's to gain attention for his media outlet.
No, but what Hardy's point is, too, is it's like not like when he did it to NPR, he was trying to screw with public funding for NPR.
Right.
Like, this is just like this woman randomly found. And this, by the way, I never even knew about the NPR thing because I'm an idiot that doesn't pay attention to the news. The only reason I know about this is because it was reported on ESPN, and then I Googled it, and it was reported by the New York Times. It's crazy. We're failing. We are failing as a society. We can't handle the internet, ladies and gentlemen. We can't handle it. We can't handle the internet. It's gotten too far away from us. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because the other things are like inherently political that this guy has gone after, whether it's
and been sued successfully for, and there's been like congressional hearings about it.
Yeah, this one I don't get. I don't see what public good is being served by this. I guess maybe if there was in fact raw sewage being dripped down on people, but I thought they had pretty much figured that one out.
And if you're someone
that's not news.
If you're someone who lives online, just like fire this guy and do this and do that, it's going to come back on you. I swear to God, it's going to come back on you. It's cosmically and literally going to come back on you. Go ahead.
I'm getting this email and tweet thing. A little is on him because this sounds like a full-fledged interview. The way she's asking him in terms of language and tone.
He's under no. That's ridiculous.
I know.
I'm responding to it.
Yeah.
I'm responding to what you just said.
Yeah.
That's absolutely ridiculous, and the idea that you feel that way is maniacal. That you should be under the impression that you're being interviewed while you're on a date. You're being taped and interviewed for the public and for ESPN and the New York Times every time you go out in public. Come on. It's not on him in any way, shape, or form. It's not on him. And shame on the Commanders for suspending him.
Joe Dre brings up an important point. It would have been fine had the woman just asked if it was okay to use this for the internet. And if you ask ahead of time,
That's why we have to do that.
Is it okay if we use this for the internet? Mm-hmm. And then boom.
And if she taped it in
Record
Virginia
away.
or D.C., it's a two-way consent state. So she broke the law.
Pretty much every place is, other than what, Arizona?
In Nevada, I think. Nevada.
Oh yeah, Nevada. That's why the Crank Yankers guys used to tape their stuff at our station.
And I'm not positive you can tape someone on video in Nevada and release it. I know you can do calls.
Calls they did from
Nevada.
Nevada.
I mean, this really pisses me off, and it's not even the O'Keefe people that piss me off. It's just we're all, and I'm no better than anyone else, but we're all really just bad people. We're just bad people. We're bad people. We're so judgmental and so on high horses about everything, myself included. It's really something else. Like no one can say anything that someone else doesn't like. Then their lives have to be ruined. You all do it. We all do it. Read the effing Bible. Read the Bible. The Bible says that we're infinitely fallible. What?
No, we're done.
I didn't think you were going there. That's okay.
No, but if these people are religious inherently, aren't you to be forgiven? Aren't we to forgive our neighbor's sins? Isn't it a basic tenet of Christianity that you're supposed to forgive? I mean, if these guys are these huge religious people that are coming down on everyone for being so sinful, isn't the whole thing to forgive and that we're all fallible?
I'm not getting into a Bible quoting contest with these people. No, I'm sure there's stuff that would support either side.
It seems like a basic thing is to
of course they're bad people. Yes,
to turn the other cheek, I believe
But it's most troubling that there's so many people just look at these videos and say, "Oh, the guy in the video, he's a bad person." No. What about How about this whole community and this whole obsession with going out and being one of these hidden camera warriors, just getting anyone to say anything under the guise of a private conversation and then ruining their lives as a result?
As if that's
how is that being a good person?
Yeah, that's so moral and so like religious and so like on point with all religion.
They suck.
Yeah, it's not good. But it's all our faults. It's all our faults, myself included. We'll be right back.
Sports Hub Headline.
Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Apparently, D.C. is a one-party. I'll read it to you. The District of Columbia is a one-party consent district. Therefore, you don't need the permission of anyone else to record a conversation that you're a part of. If you want to record someone else's conversation, you will need at least consent from at least one party. Does that give you the right to release it on the internet? Who knows? Who knows? But if you would like to know maybe you should know this, Sebastian.
Well,
come to a microphone.
This goes back to just because you can do it doesn't mean it's to be done.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I'm thinking of the show.
Yeah, and like for all those people who are out there, doing this because they feel it's right. Well, then that also gives me the wherewithal to say, well, what you're doing in principle is wrong. Going out and trying to catch people under the guise of a date and record private conversations.
Well, it's also dangerous that people are reacting to it so negatively, as if they don't say things that other people would find
reacting
offensive.
but like supporting this.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
if you're reacting it in any other way than saying this guy got screwed, there's a problem. Because, again, if someone taped your conversations, especially if you're like one of these like O'Keefe guys, you're obviously very, very partisan and very, very right wing. So if you're having a conversation with someone and that gets released, you're going to say something that's going to piss off a lot of left wing people.
It's going to piss off half the country.
Half the country, and then half the country's going to get mad, and you're going to get fired.
Right.
And no one ever is going to read something you said in a private conversation, or hear something, or see a video of something you said in a private conversation, and not react negatively to it. It's just that's what's going to happen. And I'm not wrong. And by the way, if all this is right, then this isn't. Which states allow recording without consent? California, Delaware, Florida, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts. That's not true. So who knows what the internet is right about and what's wrong about. Sebastian.
Yes, sir.
Sebastian.
Good morning. Is this further mentoring? This is mentoring 2.0?
This is me and my soapbox.
You
Fred,
walked in at the perfect time.
Who is Sebastian? Why is he here?
You're just going to turn around and get annoyed with me.
What? No, I am.
He gets annoyed with me, and then he sets me up to be annoyed.
I am absolutely not doing that this time. Most of the time, that's what I'm doing. What I would like to do is for the small percentage of the audience that was not listening yesterday and doesn't know who Sebastian is, let's reintroduce him.
Well, now you've given me permission to really get into it. Sebastian.
Yes.
Mensa member.
True.
Genius. By all standards. Young student at Georgia Tech comes hat in hand to 99X, where a young Fred Toucher, maybe 26 years old, is hosting the morning show. He comes in as an intern. He's a phenomenal intern. The best intern I've ever had.
Aw.
No, obviously.
Better than Isaac?
I mean, come on.
Somewhere Isaac just shed a tear.
Better than Isaac?
He believe it or not, he went out and really hurt himself.
Did you really?
And now Sebastian. Sorry, I talked over the best part.
You didn't have production like
Isaac.
that. And then maybe we did, but then now Sebastian has gone out and he works for the Woody Show, which is a very, very large nationally syndicated show out of Los Angeles. He also, you might be familiar with Cartnarks, which you did yesterday in town.
I took the advice of your caller yesterday, who said the Dedham Costco was a good spot, and he was absolutely right. All kinds of lazy bones out there, busted a few folks, got recognized by a dude, I was just telling you guys, who left his card out, and then when I went up to say, hey, what's going on? Oh my God, I can't, you're here. Wow, I love your channel. I was like, well, what'd you do? What'd you leave your card out for? It's like, it's just this one time. Oh, let me get a photo. I mean, look, come say hi to my wife.
Did you say, but no, not until you return your card?
Exactly, yeah. No, it's principles.
Can we go back? Is it all right with you, Sebastian, if we listen to an older episode of Cartnarks and just so people have an idea what the interaction is?
Yeah, what do you got?
I believe this is a gentleman who is angry with you. Does that narrow it down?
Never happened.
This is not straight off the internet because there's a lot of cussing typically, right?
Oh, no, it's been sanitized.
I hope it's been vetted. All right, here we go.
Now look at this man.
He's old enough to know better. Let's see, our cart return right over here. That's not where the... Oh, he's got 1, 2, 3 spots there. He's hitting parts up. Come on, sir. That's not where the cart goes.
The word goes when I leave it.
Oh, well...
Give a you like it or not?
Well, you're going to give an F if you like this, say, running magnet application. Oh, I fell off, actually. Sorry about that. The flag,
Came off my car.
Well, see, that's the point I'm making, sir, is... No, not F me.
Put it on my car, and I'll break your face.
You're too old to do that, sir.
Now, so you've got a car magnet with a flag on it that says what?
It says same thing. I don't return my shopping cart like a jerk, but the idea is a lot of these cars have aluminum body parts. Magnets don't stick, so I got a suction cup flag like you see at a car dealership or whatever.
I like how you've evolved as if you've realized what. But what's funny is, so Sebastian, if you don't know, people don't return their carts, and he comes up and he says, "Why didn't you return their carts?" It's really pretty benign, and then people just get mad at him for saying it, and then he'll put a magnet on the car. Who cares? And that, for some reason, have you ever done a deep psychological dive into why that pisses people off so much?
My aunt is a therapist and a psychologist, and it has a lot to do with, your car, especially in America. Your car is an extension of yourself. It's part, we have the car culture here like nowhere else,
right.
Obviously. It's people put so much of their identity into their vehicle, and when my magnet says, hey, this isn't such a good person, you heard it right there. This is where the car goes when I effing say,
Right.
It's a stain. It literally is a scarlet letter on their character.
Now, Fred, you and I are both car guys, part of by virtue where we grew up.
Right.
But you don't have that. I don't think you have that same protective instinct over it. I mean, you let me go out there and put your front license plate on with zip ties, which I was just doing to keep you legal.
I don't understand why you would be so upset at someone for putting a magnet on your car. That's why it's so funny.
I would be upset.
You would?
I would bet. Oh, do not touch my car.
Really?
I hear that 1,000 times. Yeah.
Do not touch my car.
Yeah, that wouldn't bother me at all. So that's why it's so funny to me. I'm I don't understand why any of these people are getting upset. Now, look, if there are all days where if someone you got fired or you're having problems with your wife or you just got divorced or something and you're walking out of the grocery store and someone starts screwing with you, that you're going to get pissed off. But what's funny is the funniest thing to me is A, that he says lazy bones, and then B, that when you put the stuff on, that's what pisses him off so much.
And this 60-year-old man is now threatening to have Mortal Kombat with me in a parking lot.
Yeah, threatening to kick your ass, too. How many of these people, really do you think would kick your ass that threaten to kick your ass?
There's one guy who in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, who really tried. And I found out later he probably could have, based on his background in MMA.
Right. Well, that's but then he's going to jail.
I found out also he maybe not too scared of jail.
Oh, very good.
Now, I find Fred. I understand why he likes the bit, but I also know that he's of the mind. Mind your own business. Just leave me alone. Don't talk to me. Yeah, who cares?
Sebastian knows that when he would come up with bits, I would say, don't bother people. Try not to bother people. Just get yourself. Don't actively get in their way.
Yeah.
Kind of disrupt a whole thing. But I like. It's funny, Sebastian. I mean, obviously it works. I mean, I like it.
It's supposed to be silly.
You're not doing anything. You're not really even screwing with people. You're just saying, if you put the cart in front of their car and you're disrupting their day. But if you're like, hey, why didn't you put your car back? You could just drive away.
Much like Fred with his guy with the political signs the other day, the guy who was blocking traffic. If you had said to him, hey, man, you're messing with the flow of stuff, which is what you're doing when you leave your cart out. You're making it harder for people to drive around, making it harder to open doors. Same idea.
Yeah, that's right. They're horrible people.
I have one request of Sebastian, and then I have one question that relates to me personally that I would like to ask him next.
Okay,
and then we have a whole other subject matter.
I'll tell you, he was at the Juggalo gathering of the Juggalos, the big Insane Clown Posse event. We will have that for you in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
how we need to play the game and how we need to be fundamentally sound and be prepared for anything.
They were missing starting left guard City So yesterday at practice. They'll be out there again today. The Bengals had hold-in wideout Jamar Chase at practice yesterday. He was limited or listed as limited for rest. The Buffalo Bills announced yesterday DeMar Hamlin's going to be their starting safety to open up the season 20 months after going into cardiac arrest during a game against the Bengals. The NFL's regular season begins tonight. Baltimore visits two-time defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City, and the Red Sox got swept by the Mets 8-3 at Citi Field. They're back at 500 for the season. The home team received 3 consecutive bases-loaded walks in the bottom of the 8th inning to put the game away. Sox have lost 5 straight and 10 of 13. Their next game is back at Fenway Park against the White Sox tomorrow night. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the 99 Restaurants. Visit the Nines the day after the Red Sox win. That has not happened for a while. And kids get a free meal with the kids menu with every adult entree purchased. You gotta love the Nines. I'm John Wallach at Boston Tilt for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
Here we go.
Boom. I win.
Kaboom.
Yeah.
Hit somebody. We've got a passion for Boston sports.
Get angry.
98.5 The Sports Hub. Now, more Tuncher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
No effects. It was no effects day in Brockton. Mayor Brockton made it no effects day. The day of the weekend of their last shows. I was out of town. I would have gone. Sebastian, who was an intern of mine in Atlanta, now is a big success story on a big, very, much larger show than this. The Woody Show in Los Angeles. We found out yesterday. I had found out when he was in Atlanta. We won't get into it again. But when we found, and Hardy, I know you got stuff you want to ask him, and we want to play this audio. But we had done this thing years ago in Atlanta where Sebastian had told me, because he was in Mensa and went to Georgia Tech, his sperm was like very valuable to people. Like a lot of women wanted his sperm, so he was selling his sperm in a sperm bank. And I said, "How many times you did it?" And he's like, "It's like an unconscionable amount of times."
It was several years worth, and three times a week for several years.
Yeah, like a lot.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
they knocked me off. I was out for a year because I had a false positive test for chlamydia. Because every 6 months. Thank you, John.
It happens.
Every
Jonathan.
6 months they.
Now is that the clap?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. All right.
No, that's
Just eat some moldy bread.
The gonorrhea is the clap.
Yeah, I think that's correct. Actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyway, so because every 6 months they test you, test your blood, test you STDs, all that stuff.
Okay, and so I go, let's call your mom, and if I did this now, I can only imagine what the audience would do. They would want me. They would certainly want me fired. I mean that goes without saying.
Yeah.
But back then, you could call someone's mom, and Sebastian was game. And we called his mom, and the reason I brought this up yesterday is because I still remember it. I don't remember anything. And I still remember going to his mom like, "Hey, Sebastian, tell your mom." And Sebastian's like, I've donated sperm like 200 times. And she just goes, "No." And I'm like, yeah, it's true. Like he's really been doing it. Like I've seen like the paperwork and stuff. She's like, "No." She just said no. And like her brain was able to do that. So I brought it up yesterday to Sebastian because I remember it fondly, that segment. And Sebastian said, "Oh, no, she knows now. She did 23andMe, and it turns out that I have 23 children that I know of. There's a Facebook group for them, and obviously there's many, many more all throughout the world, and you have met some, and it's a very beautiful thing."
It is. It is.
Has anyone pitched a show about that? Would you do it?
Yeah, I would, but I think the problem is I'm not like, for that to work, I would need to be like I would need to be a Hardy type. I need to be some like goody two shoes, doe-eyed, like wow. I would need to be.
This leads into my question. This is perfect. By the way, is that Facebook group private?
Yeah. And I'm not part of it. My mom told him, he doesn't do Facebook. Which I really
it's probably better.
It'd be nice to have Daddy on there, though.
Well, see, that's exactly the thing. You need a Hardy type. 'Cause I lean more Fred. We're like, oh, okay. I mean, I'm happy for these people, but I'm not like, I want to see the life I've created.
This leads into my question. When you're doing cart narcs, if you see someone like me, as I often do, not only return my cart, but I'll grab another cart or two.
And you straighten them?
Yeah, you do.
Do you have a Fred, shush. Do you, Sebastian, have a special award that you give out when you see people like me who are going above and beyond?
I got one for you right here in the studio.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. This means a lot to him, for real.
It's just a sticker with our logo, but
No. But you give him a sticker with the logo that said Cartnark.
A Cartnark sticker.
Can you imagine?
All right, so
how about that?
I said this off the air to him yesterday. I said, you are the biggest dad. Like, you are a Midwestern dad. Like, that is who you are. He follows around the, like, AC guy while he's at the house, just looking around.
Yeah.
Do you use Waze?
I use Google Maps.
Okay, but he uses Waze, and he was aware that there is a reward system if you go report an accident or a speed trap, that they give you like a star.
Ooh.
And he knows how many stars he has. It's like matters to him. He's like, got 150 stars.
I got 100. I got some extra Wazer points today.
Is there a Facebook group for those people?
For reporting that raccoon in the road?
Most likely.
All right.
But okay. All right. So you, Sebastian, are a fascinating character. I appreciate you staying in town. We love having you around.
Thank you.
And you're very, very talented and very, very hardworking. The man's been to Japan for his radio show.
Well, yeah, technically this is my week off.
Yeah, I know, and you're working. All right, so the Insane Clown Posse, everyone knows the Insane Clown Posse, the Magnet song and everything else.
That's right.
Are you a believer in miracles? Music is all magic. You can't even hold it.
Do you notice and recognize miracles?
It's just there in the air.
Are you a believer in miracles?
Pure mother magic.
Pure magic.
That's
yeah,
right.
That's
Jay
Jay Stu. So the Insane Clown Posse, they have this big like weekend event, and the Juggalos are their fans. They're super hardcore into it. But guys like Jim Norton have done it, I know. And
yeah, they've got a comedian. Big J. Okerson was this year.
Yeah.
So like that class of people.
Yeah. Okay. And so you go. This is how many times have you been there?
Like 8 times.
All right, and just kind of give us where it is, what it's like.
So it's in a field outside of Columbus, Ohio, and it's their own like area. So it's an event center sort of area, but it's open air. And the idea is you show up if you're a Juggalo, pitch a tent or sleep in your car, and you're there from like Wednesday through Sunday morning. And it's basically, if you're in Pinocchio, is it Never Neverland or whatever it is?
Well, it's given sovereign nation status for the weekend of the gathering.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like, you walk around and there's no one to save you if you overdose, as many people do. You know, it's they have EMTs and stuff, but it's not like when you go to, let's say, like Lollapalooza, Coachella, whatever, where it's, there's all kinds of cops and security. You walk in, you can bring in, and people do, they bring in any kind of drug. People will advertise PCP, Molly, Percocets. They're selling weed. They're selling beer.
The first time I ever became aware outside of Burt Reynolds being addicted to painkillers was one of the guys in ICP when he showed up at a radio station, and he was asking anyone and everyone if they had Perks or Vikes or something else. I'm like, and I was so naive. I was like, oh, did you hurt yourself? I didn't know. I didn't know that somebody would get addicted to them at that point.
And if you're an Insane Clown Posse and I'm addicted to Vicodin myself, I'm like, here, take half of them. I mean, what do I need them for?
Yes.
You're an ICP.
And so
because their people are very loose. You're giving away their
I know. That's what I'm saying. Oh, I'm an addict too. But hey, listen, you're the fat guy in ICP. Here's all my drugs. It was the other. Yeah, I figured. So check too dope.
So that's the idea. And then there's a lot of nudity. Again, it's a land of no laws, like Hardy was saying.
Is it utopian or dystopian? Oh, look what I just did. Is
really
it utopian
nice.
or
Really
dystopian?
They love it. Anyone else walking around would be horrified.
You like it though, because do you legitimately like it? Because you like that kind of anarchy situation,
Right. It's great. It's amazing people watching because like you said, it's you don't see this behavior anywhere else, anywhere in the world. Of just like people just naked, passed out, watching this band whose genre is horror clown rap.
Yeah.
Which doesn't exist outside of Insane Clown Posse.
So there are people getting things into the festival, including one woman who you encountered who was there to do something very, very specific.
To be fair, this was captured by Clownvis, who's one of the hosts. He's an Elvis clown impersonator, and this lady, she's in a power wheelchair. She's a large lady. Wearing a belly shirt and lingerie, and she's got a clear dildo filled with like sand and rocks and stuff, but it's actually something else.
Okay.
It's an actual replication of my husband's penis with his ashes in it that I have slowly been spreading around the gathering, and he's here.
So why, Sebastian, did you inquire why form the casket of the man's penis only to spread the ashes?
It's a good question. I think it's just because it reminded her of her husband.
No, I understand that, and I understand using it, but because it reminds you of your husband. But I don't understand putting the ashes in it and then just taking them out. Like, I'm going to have this like elaborate thing made just to spread the ashes out again.
That's another part of the gathering of the Juggalos is it's highly sexual. They do a wet T-shirt. This is, by the way, you can still do wet T-shirt contests at the gathering of the Juggalos.
Which you certainly can anywhere else.
Exactly. They have a Miss Juggalette contest, and I've watched both of those, and that is a live sex show. It is women doing things to other women. Yeah. It's literally it's beyond anything you see on the internet.
It's what appearances were like in 2001. Yeah.
Okay. And that's what I'm saying with this clear ash dildo is that this is a highly sexualized event as well.
Okay, now are these women that because you'll go to a nude beach and you'll go, well, none of these people should be nude. Is it like that, or are there attractive women like Lucy Goosey?
There's 1 out of 20, maybe. Oh. It is like that. Like, she is like one of those tatted up strippers, the Suicide Girl type.
Yeah.
Everyone else is just, no offense.
Well, 1 out of 20.
Sebastian, I don't want you to give the wrong impression of what the entire festival is about, though. It's not just about sex. Some people are there as vendors and encouraging people to engage in acts of skill. And I believe you encountered one of these people.
Right. And the lady we talked to with the ash dildo, she was wearing an I Heart Pegging Men shirt. And that's which you can buy at the gathering of the Juggalos. And I believe that's who you're talking about, Hardy.
No, I wasn't. No,
it's the other guy. So this guy. So
how many men were around this woman when she had that shirt on? I mean, there had to be a line. I mean, she had a belly shirt on that said that. I got to imagine that there's quite a line. Sebastian, were you involved in any of
I
this?
forgot that you had provided us with the pegging audio. No, that's something else.
I know. So a lot of these guys, they show up and it's literally on their last dime. Like you take a Greyhound and you hitchhike to the gathering of the Juggalos.
That's not surprising.
And so you got to buy food and drugs while you're there. Well, this guy had a very creative way of doing that. He had tied balloons to his shirt. And I noticed that some of these balloons were popped, and he was hanging. He had a dirty handful of darts on hand, and he's leaking blood as well. Yeah, I think that's who you're talking about, Hardy.
Yeah.
How much money have you made by having people throw real darts at your body today?
Just in the last half hour, probably $25.
Yeah, and by the way, that's more than that's less than tetanus costs. The only drug you need at that point is a tetanus shot.
Because the darts, they just fall on the ground, and that's clean, right?
I have to figure, too, that he did not bring the darts and balloons himself. That this was a scheme that was cooked up when he found some darts on the ground. Maybe they were used in the whole pegging thing. Who knows?
Your rate is what again?
2 for $5.
All right, now here, I'd like for you, if you don't mind, to hold the mic and tell me how it feels as I'm throwing them, okay?
Oh, what does that sound?
That's the balloon popping and
That's good aim.
Yeah.
I mean, that's called succeeding.
And again, he was leaking blood from several holes already. By the time because he said he made $25 already.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I like the price point of $5.
Which you can't get anything. There's no dollar menus anymore.
I don't think that you could pop balloons at the fair for $5. And there's a prize. All right, go ahead.
You got several holes here in your shirt.
Yeah, I got some blood stains. I mean, they got me in the heart the other day, so I put a little plate right here in my heart.
Oh, folded up piece of cardboard.
Yeah, because that hurt.
Hey.
You can never be too careful.
Well, fool me once.
Hey. Mies thinks this guy don't mind it so much. Because I'm thinking that the pain ain't so bad for this fella. That maybe there's a little something in it for him.
I love the interaction between, I got a protective heart plate, and Sebastian, folded up piece of cardboard.
Well, also you got to protect your heart because the dart, of course, could pierce your ribs.
Well, look, Steve Irwin, that's what happened to him with the Stingray.
Yeah. Same thing.
That's the exact same thing. All right.
There are drugs.
Yes. Is this the guy, the text message one?
Yes.
So I'm talking to this one dude, and he's telling me about, this is how, because a lot of people sneak in. That's the kind of a game they play. Because it's a big field, you're not near anything, and then they're poor, like we said. So that's the kind of game they play. And I was talking to the guy about that, and this other guy says, hey, look what I...
Go ahead. Go ahead.
He said, look what I got. And he shows me on his phone some good news from the drug fairy.
Can you explain what's going on here?
Yeah.
It's like, woo, woo. Can you explain what's going on? Yeah, woo, woo.
Well, so woo, that's their call and response.
Yes, I know. Yeah. I think we're all.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
It's part of the zeitgeist, Sebastian. How dare you?
This thing you do hear him just in the background walking by. Woo, woo. Woo, woo.
Woo, woo. Drugs? Woo, woo.
It's like the Foo's Gone Wild with it.
And then you see the pegging shirt, you go, woo, woo. Woo, woo. All right.
Can you explain what's going on here?
Yeah. My cousin just told me he got some acid for both of us, so.
Do you have to be careful with it because you don't know the source necessarily?
Yeah, he only deals with his close friends. So,
okay.
Yeah, there have been issues, especially this year, because of the fentanyl.
Because of what?
The fentanyl.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, on acid?
Well, they throw it in everything, especially at the gathering. That's all dirty street drugs, and they are so conscious of it at the gathering of the Juggalos that there are people walking around with patches. I got fentanyl, and because everyone is just taking whatever, and people I are passing out.
Yeah, you can't take fentanyl.
And not waking up.
Yeah, you
because they just don't know what's in it. Yeah,
But there's several woo-woos going on. Now, is that just them greeting each other? It's not so much the acid that interests me.
My cousin.
Like guys in like a megaphone go woo-woo.
There's a lot of guys, they love having a megaphone because you can catcall people as you're walking around.
So if I go to one of these girls, I go woo-woo in a megaphone. Now, is that like peacocking? I can afford a megaphone and look at what I'm doing.
Exactly.
I'm reaching you from a lot greater distance than this fella.
And the batteries.
Yep.
Which are not cheap.
Exactly. So yeah,
like,
that's
woo woo. I have a weapon. If we take these batteries out, I can woo woo.
He's a high status male. Exactly.
You're proving your worth. It's all part of the mystery method. We've all been over this.
There's the presenting. There's the woo-wooing. There's all these animal
Yeah, it's
rituals.
not so much that the guy has acid. It's just the several woo-woos.
That's smart.
They have test strips all over the place. Everything's available here, so it's all up to you to be smart.
Yeah.
There's the little libraries posted throughout. Leave a book, take a book. Anything you need at the gathering of the Juggalos.
Absolutely. Well, if you go to the poetry readings, it's a big thing. All right. Well, listen, Sebastian, it's been an absolute pleasure, sir.
No, thank you. And again, the mentoring never stops with Freddie T.
Oh, absolutely.
Lifelong learning.
And if you ever want to play long-form audio on this show, feel free. We'll have some fun with it.
Oh, my God.
All right. Yeah. I mean, if you want to come back all the time, you can come back.
Well, look, I'm usually up. I'm usually up early, West Coast time for you guys, so I could pipe in here and
Anytime you want to send audio, dude, send audio.
Free material.
Right.
We do really well in Boston. We're not syndicated, but we have a nice chunk of audience in Boston, so it can't hurt. Very good. Well, Sebastian, listen, it's always great to see you. I really do appreciate you coming in both days, and I'm glad your life has turned out the way it has.
It was awesome to finally meet you, Fred.
Oh,
Fred does not speak highly of many people on this earth. He has consistently extolled your virtues, and believe me, when I told my sister, my kids, a few other people that I had finally met and was hanging out for a couple of days with the Cartnark.
The Cartnark.
Yes. You know, but you know that's like huge cred for me. People are like, no way.
Wow.
I'm like, yeah,
seriously. Never meet your heroes.
I'm going to start calling you my friend. Yeah, he's a friend of mine.
Well, Sebastian was in this Mr. Beast video. He told me, and I'm like, told my kids, Sebastian's in this Mr. Beast video, and they're like, and I'm like, I don't know. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Like, I don't know, man. He was my intern. He went to a Mr. Beast video. Which one? I don't know. Like, a lot of money. Did he win? No. What did they have to do? I don't know. Like, was the guy, the Philly boy Roy there? I don't know. Like, stop it. Stop with the thing. Like a million questions. It was, you know what it was? I was trying to show off, and then it blew back in my face.
My friend's into something you're into. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now you want to push it? All right. Dave Richard, our good friend, two good friends in a row, is going to join us. We'll be right back. Toucher and Hardy. Dave Richard, a good friend who has been with us forever. He's very loyal. Is available with all your fantasy football advice. He also, a lot of listeners are big fans of his, not only for the fantasy, but he watches more football legit than anyone else I've ever met. And we have people on every day that cover the NFL. There are 3 ways to link up with Dave Richard and his fantasy football advice on X, which I don't like saying, Twitter, at Dave Richard. Live on YouTube every morning by searching for Fantasy Football Today, and 3 times per week on Fantasy Football Today on CBS Sports Network. Check the local listings. Dave joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Dave, hello.
Fred, you can call it whatever you want. Twitter, X, Hellscape, Funtown, whatever you want to call it, you can call it.
Don't you think it's weird, though, when you're listening to, like, the radio and someone goes, Twitter, oh, you're supposed to call it X, and you're like, well, what's going to, Elon Musk's going to kill you? Like, what's going to happen? Like, everyone knows what you're talking about.
Exactly. And so if saying it like that, it really doesn't make a difference either way. It's like an extra, like 4 syllables out of your mouth?
And X doesn't, I'm not positive everyone knows what X is. All right, indulge me. Everyone has to indulge me. It's an annual tradition. I'm going to give you my team.
Go for
it. Caleb Williams.
This team sucks. Worst team ever.
It's just a reflex.
But you know what I
right,
did
Dave?
that was smart? Late. I got Baker Mayfield. Now tell people about Baker Mayfield. Go.
Yeah, this team sucks. Worst team ever.
Okay.
Don't know what you're doing.
Man.
A.J. Brown, Puka Nacua, Calvin Ridley, Kenneth Walker III, Mixon, Andrews, Kirk are my starters the first week. It's a 12-person league. You know it's sharp with Mike Lockhart and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, Mike's sharp.
All right. Is that bad?
Oh, I think, first of all, what the hell happened at quarterback, Fred?
I waited because last year I went running back. I'll tell you my strategy. I went, and this might be interesting to people who are drafting. I went running back last year, and it blew up in my face. So I went receiver this year. And then, according to rankings, I wasn't Mayfield like a top quarterback in fantasy last year?
He wasn't bad, but he's not somebody that people like. You got him to be your backup, and you should probably start him this week against Washington.
Okay,
but I'd like to know what quarterbacks are on waivers.
Okay, because you don't think Caleb Williams is going to be good, because some people do.
I think he can be. I don't know if I don't want to enter the season with him as my starting fantasy quarterback.
Yeah,
I've already made an error. It appears.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking that Dave was half kidding when he said that your team sucks, but I was surprised to hear that you lead with that.
All right, here is the team I'm playing against. Then you tell me if this is better. Brock Purdy, is he better than Caleb Williams?
This week, yes.
Yeah, but is it a better pick?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, was he taken in round 8 and 9, or was it?
So it's basically a push. Tyreek Hill, obviously.
That's pretty good.
Drake London, Devontae Smith, Kyron Williams, Ramondre Stevenson, George Kittle, and Xavier Worthy. Who's got the better team?
I think you've got the better team.
All right, so it wasn't so.
I'm not. It's not a guarantee you're going to win.
Oh, really?
If you lose, it's going to be because of your quarterback.
How dare you? I mean, what do you mean? It's not.
It's not a
guarantee.
If you lose, it's because of your quarterbacks.
All right, who's a quarterback on waivers that people who didn't value the quarterback position can pick up?
So for this week, I think Baker is good enough to start. Obviously, if you can get your hands on Matthew Stafford or Trevor Lawrence, I'd throw Tua on that list. Jared Goff for sure. Like, all 4 of those quarterbacks you can go and get, but they are all probably taken if you ended up with Baker Mayfield on your team. But otherwise, I think you just
purpose.
I think Mayfield. I think he's the one that you go with. Matchup against Washington's pretty easy. The fact that it's at home helps. He's got good receivers, and I have heard that the Bucs like this version of their offense more than last year's version. And Baker kind of had a re-breakout, I guess you should say, year last year in last year's offense, and they like this year's offense better.
I thought I'd have my sleeper on my hands. I don't know what.
I mean, who the hell knows? But I would say Baker over Caleb Williams for week 1.
I already did it. All right. So most people have drafted by now. The NFL starts tonight, and as you've watched every game of every season that's ever been played. people are predicting Kansas City Lions Super Bowl. Who are teams? Do you think that that's the most likely scenario? And who could be teams that surprise and who could be teams that disappoint?
I mean, I'd be an idiot if I told you that it wasn't likely that Kansas City would be back in the Super Bowl. It's been like 6 straight AFC Championship games that they've played in.
Right.
But I always like to be a little bit different with my Super Bowl picks. And I as much as I picked the Chiefs last year, I'm not picking them this year. I looked at the AFC and I thought that there might be just a couple of teams that maybe if they like, the theoretical, if they played the Chiefs 10 times, how many times could they win? And the team that I think on paper could actually run with Kansas City is Houston. I love their defense. I think they made the big addition of Danielle Hunter it's going to be a story that you hear about. Now they've got an unbelievable pass rush to go with an improving secondary. They're coached very well from D'Amico Ryans. And offense, they added Stephon Diggs. Every fantasy manager knows that. But their offensive line is healthier than it was last year. Stroud is making his second run around the block. Last year was great for him. And I'm sure he'll see some different stuff this year, but he's got different options to go to in his offense. Not just Diggs, but Joe Mixon as well. I think this team is built to handle Kansas City in January, even if it's in Kansas City. So I'm taking the Texans to make the Super Bowl against the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. I think the NFC is wide open. I think there are a lot of teams that could be in that spot. I think Philadelphia rebounds from what happened to them last year. Hurts was really beat up. Their defense was falling apart. There were communication issues between the coaches and the players. Now we know that Vic Fangio's there. Hopefully there will be no more communications issues. And Saquon Barkley is the lead back for an offense that's already loaded with a new offensive coordinator themselves. Should end up being very, very good for them.
All right, I've heard a lot of people like Philadelphia for obvious reasons. That they were 10-1 last year, right? And then they
at one point, I believe they were. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So, who that people like this year? Do you think it's fool's gold, as they say? What teams people are predicting will do well? Do you think are the most liable to not?
Fred, I picked the Cowboys to miss the playoffs.
Whoa!
I know that's crazy, but I hate the vibes that are coming out of there. The fact that it's a lame duck year for Mike McCarthy. They haven't extended Dak Prescott. They need to extend Micah Parsons, and that they did extend CeeDee Lamb. It's just interesting, almost strange how they've approached this offseason. They've had a running back opening that they really didn't fill other than by giving it to Rico Dowdle and saying, here, kid, see what you can do, and bringing back Ezekiel Elliott. I'm worried about that run game being anywhere near as decent as it was last year. The offensive line is younger, so I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing, but it could end up being a bad thing, given that there's some inexperience now in that line. 2 very young starters, 2 rookies starting for that team in week 1 against Cleveland, by the way. And I think the rest of the NFC East got better, and it minimally with the Giants. They got Malik Neighbors, but they also traded for Brian Burns. They're going to have a pretty good pass rush this year. They're going to be a little underrated. Washington got better. They took Dallas's defensive coordinator. Usually defensive coordinators coming back to face their old team, that's a win for the team with the new head coach. So I get nervous about them versus Washington. Philadelphia, I've already told you, I think they're going to be very good. I think the wheels come off on the Cowboys this year and they miss the playoffs.
That will be fun. Yeah. That would be a lot of fun.
And then the Belichick rumors start up again.
Yeah.
It's either there or New York. The Giants, I should say, for Belichick.
Or he just expands his, ever-growing media empire. And,
let me ask you, why the Giants? They're so far away. Like what? Like why? Like Belichick might die.
Yeah, I know. He only has a few years
Every
left.
time I hear Bill Belichick wax poetic about the Giants, the tone of his voice changes, and it's the team that, he won his first Super Bowl with them. It really put him on the map. He was the defensive coordinator there. I don't know Bill personally, but I would think that he would be interested in going back there.
Oh, yeah.
To try and lead the Giants.
Oh, I'm sure he'd be very interested in going back there. If I'm the Giants, I mean, I need a guy that can be there for, ideally 9 years. I don't want some old dude. That's a rebuild.
It's a fair point, but they do have pieces in place to be competitive next year. They just need a quarterback.
I find the NFC to be inherently more interesting this season based on some of the things that you were just talking about with with the Eagles and the Cowboys, but also for what the Lions and what the 49ers might be doing this year too. What do you make of their chances, San Francisco and Detroit?
I think that they're both playoff teams. I believe that the 49ers have just put it all together at the last second, like a college kid throwing together an essay or cramming before the night before an exam to go and try and pass it. I feel like that's what the 49ers did. And they should end up being just fine. What matters now doesn't matter as much on November and December, and that's when they'll ultimately hit their stride. And I think that they're winning their division. They might even be the number 1 seed in the NFC. Detroit. I wonder. I think they've got to stay healthy. Then that's a prerequisite for every team. But if they don't, I just think their depth is a massive question mark. And their defense, they've got a good pass rush. It's not amazing. They're going to be using a lot of rookies in the secondary. How quickly can they grow up and become very, very good contributors so that they can stop slowing opposing teams' passing games? They've got a big first test against the Rams in week 1. I think the Lions will win the game, and I think their offensive stars will do great. But I also think that they're still going to give up a lot of yards through the air against LA. And I hopefully the Lions can take a step forward and be that Super Bowl contender. But I'm kind of betting against it because there's just so many good teams in the NFC.
I haven't seen enough change with Detroit specifically to, we talk about betting them, betting the over in pretty much every game that they play because they're still capable of scoring a lot. But like you said, with the young secondary and some of the teams they're facing, I think you're going to be looking at a lot of these 42-38 games when the Lions are playing, win or lose.
Sure, they're going to be one of those teams. I think Arizona is going to be one of those teams. I think Washington could end up being one of those teams as well. Just teams that Miami, another one. Teams that have good offenses. They're going to put up a lot of points, but man, their defenses are going to leave them hanging.
All right. Well, listen, a lot of games indoors for the Lions, and Goff loves being indoors.
It's true.
If they get home field in the playoffs, then he's indoors. If they get home field in the playoffs, Lions go in the Super Bowl. I will tell you that. That is my opinion. Where's the Super Bowl this year?
New Orleans?
New Orleans.
And then that's indoors, if you didn't know.
And then it goes west the next 2 years in California, but New Orleans this year.
And then Hardy will be broadcasting from New Orleans.
By himself.
They want to be there all week. Soak it in the environment all
Hell
week.
yeah.
Get in those.
We all go.
Yeah, get in those great guests. All right, Dave Richard.
You'll be there.
I'm not being there at 5 a.m. talking to an empty room.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
Okay, very good. Dave Richard, thank you for the time, sir. We really appreciate it. Everyone, go to Twitter at Dave Richard. He's on CBS Sports Network. He's all over the place. He's on YouTube. Check him out, Dave. It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
No deep dive on the Patriots game against the Bengals?
No. No, thank you.
No.
All right. Good luck in your leagues, guys.
All right, Dave. All right, we'll be right back here. The headlines.
Sports Hub headline. Tuncher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Just the Hives? I like the Hives. You know who was a big fan of the Hives, if I may name drop? The one time I met Andre 3000. He said, who do you work for? I said, 99X. He goes, oh, yeah, because he was from Atlanta. He goes, oh, yeah, the alternative station. I go, yeah. He goes, I saw the Hives. They're amazing. And I go, oh, yeah? And he goes, yeah, they stop for, like, they're playing, they stop. And then without any clicks or anything, after a significant silence, all kicked back in at the same time. He said it was amazing. What is not amazing is something that we discussed earlier. And that is that I'm not the first to bring this up. People far smarter than me have.
Mm-hmm.
But we really, as a society, are in a social experiment that we're failing. And that is we can't handle the internet. Like, we can't handle it. The internet, if we were better people, would be like a unifying thing of like sharing ideas and this, connecting cultures and all these things. But since we're so flawed as humans, it's just completely dividing us more because we're all morons. We can't handle it. Myself included. Myself very much in it. I am no better than anyone else. And the point I have is this is from the New York Times. Commanders suspend employee for disparaging comments on players, fans, and Roger Goodell. So you go, ooh, who's that employee? And you say, was it the head coach? Was it the general manager? Was it the owner? No, it was of course, the vice president of content, Rael Entine, or whatever the hell his name is. Well, how? Wow. What did Rael Entine have to say? After all, he's the vice president of content.
Yeah. Did he smoke some opium and then go crazy on the team's social media accounts?
I literally saw this on ESPN, and I said, did he take over the social media account drunk and just start saying all this stuff? I said, did he bust into like a press conference and start going crazy? What did he do? This is hot stuff. This is on ESPN. This is in the New York Times. No. He met a girl on Hinge, the dating app, and went out and she taped him. And he said that the league was homophobic. And people's point is the group that did it, what was it, like O'Toole Media?
OMG and the
O'Keefe Media.
Yeah, the operative is someone known as an American swiper. And what these people do is they go on dating apps specifically to rope these people into dates, and then they secretly record what the people say while they're on their dates.
By the way, none of these stories include what one fact? Do you guys have a guess?
I was going to say...
who the woman is that taped them.
Yeah.
That's unknown. That doesn't need to be known. Just that this guy gets in trouble. So we played the audio earlier. It's what he says to me is fairly innocuous, but you might think it's the worst thing in the world. My point is this. Is that this guy doesn't have some big shot job where, this could be you. Like if you work, again, the example, if you work for Valvoline's a big ass company. If someone tapes you and that tape goes viral, you're going to get fired. And here's the deal. But I don't say anything. Me and my friends don't say anything. When we talk, we're perfect. No, you're not. Anything you say, any opinion you have, at least half the people are going to think you suck and want you eliminated from everything. They're going to want to take your life away. And there's never anything that people see transcribed in print. I can tell you for certain. I know. Nothing that is transcribed in print or that video or audio of you is released where it's not going to be reacted to more negatively than positively. You're going to get far more negativity than support because that's what people do. They immediately want to take you down. It fills something in us as humans. We're inherently flawed. So you are just as apt to do what this guy did as anyone else. Now, not people who disagree with me, I'm not saying they're not good listeners. Zachary says, morning, Fred, great show so far. 10-4 on that. I agree with you about the tape conversation, dangerous precedent, etc. Yes, I do think that taping people on dates and then playing what they say and going, oh, by the way, that's the news. And it points out the hypocrisy of the NFL. He's a nobody. He's a nobody. Oh, but he makes $500,000 a year. I don't care. He doesn't control the NFL. You don't even know what his job is. You know what the title is. Do we all know what he does? Can we say for sure what he does unless you've read it? And even if you read it, I'd like to know what he does on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting exercise, what the content person does. Yeah.
But this guy's an effing moron. If he could not tell he was being set out, hindsight's 2020. But listening to this audio, it's really hard to think your questions were coming at her organically. Love the show. Glad things to be seen going well for you, Zach. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate that. But I do counter with, I wouldn't think that. Like, if I go out on dates, I've met girls from Hinge, and if I'm on a date with a girl, it's never occurred to me that they'd be taping me. And I'm trying to be a good first date. I'm telling jokes. I'm like saying stuff. If you transcribed that or videoed me and put that on the internet, I'd most likely get fired, because it's not things I could say on the air. And like, you might even think they're funny. Like, you know what? Most of you listening, 99% of you would go, oh, Fred's being pretty funny. But the 1% that said that I'm not, because I don't have my guard up, because I'm not on the radio, I'm swearing, I'm being loose, like I'm finding common interests in, like, which is what he was doing. She was quizzing him, and she was obviously super interested in the NFL stuff, so he was peacocking like, oh, this is what's the NFL. He doesn't seem like a dumb guy. It's how you do a first date. You're having a conversation. You're like reading this. Oh, she seems interested in this. Like, let's go here. Like, right? Like, you don't have a prepared set of notes on a date. You're having a conversation and trying to impress someone.
If you walk into a first date super suspicious, that date's going to last 5 seconds.
Like, it would never, ever occur to me that someone was taping me on a date.
Yeah.
And now, like, my record, and then and so whatever, O'Keefe Media does it, right? Like, they do it, fine. Like, someone's going to do that, right? What I don't like is that it was on ESPN. I don't like that I know about it, right? If you go to O'Keefe Media and this is what you get off on, fine. That's great. Good, more power to him. But the idea that it's news and that he's suspended is insane. It's insane. The idea that all of us as humans are incredibly fallible and make mistakes all the time. You, me, we all make mistakes. That's why I'm comfortable talking about my mistakes on the air, because I know they're at least relatable to some people. We've all screwed up. None of us are perfect. And none of us, especially in a conversation, when taken out of context or even taken in context, are saying something that wouldn't outrage half the country. So say you're the biggest, most PC far-left person on the planet. You love it all. There's nothing that you hate everyone. Like, everyone's against you. If you come out and you say Donald Trump is this and the right-wing media is this and Tucker Carlson's this, and that video gets released, you're going to get destroyed. Destroyed. Your life as you know it is going to change for 6 months, and it's going to be miserable for you. So any opinion you have, I don't care if you're walking on water. I don't care if you're Adam 12. You're going to say something that pisses someone off.
Just the fact that this is not only being celebrated, but other people want to go do it now. And if there were an actual cause at stake here, like if you were trying to bring down, a company with
like Enron.
Yeah, you're trying to end, sweatshops somewhere. You're trying to do something. This appears to be like an action to do what? Just to get somebody to speak like out of turn and off the record about a football team or the NFL? I don't see where the gotcha is.
And also, I don't think they were there's no way they were targeting this guy.
And if they
has to be just he came up on Hinge and the girl went, oh, he'd be fun to screw with. Like, that's got to be what it is. I can't imagine. I might be wrong, but I'd heavily lean to that Rael Entine, the vice president of content, wasn't someone we need to get our hands on.
Yeah, that's tough to believe.
It sounds like he just was like, I work for the Redskins on Hinge. It was their second date, too.
Unless there's like some community of people who are still pissed off about the name change and they don't like something about the new owner and they're like, we're going to go after these people because they're so woke and we're going to get them to
But he was woke in the thing. He was talking about people being homophobic. See, now he wasn't woke in the right way. Like, you can't. That illustrates my point. You can't win.
No, you
can't win. He had an opinion. His opinion was his opinion. It didn't seem outrageous at all to me.
Nothing that dozens of other employees across the National Football League or just regular people
just
would say the
everyone's so
same
perfect.
thing if they were not in the public eye.
And like, you got to really believe that there's no like karma or no downside to ruining someone's life. Like if you ruin someone's life, like, and you can live with that you're a psychopath. I mean, you're a psychopath. That there's no guilt, that you somehow feel like you won the day because you destroyed a guy's life. I mean, if you're all religious, you're going. Where do you think you're going when you die? All right. We'll be back. We got stories, we got Kendra, we got everything. We'll be right back.
Patriots players are back out on the practice field yesterday after a day off. They were missing offensive lineman City So, starting left tackle Verdarian Lowe, present but limited. They open up the regular season Sunday in Cincinnati. Jacoby Brissett has seen the Bengals before.
A lot of the same guys have been in this defense for a while now, so they understand the scheme. They understand, their problems that teams are trying to attack. And, I think over the years they've done a good job of correcting a lot of those. They obviously got a lot of talented guys. We definitely got to be on our P's and Q's this week.
Jamar Chase practiced for the Bengals yesterday, but was listed as limited. Patriots also announced yesterday they'll wear their red throwback uniforms for home games October 13th against Houston and December 1st against Indianapolis. The NFL's regular season begins tonight. Kansas City will host Baltimore. Red Sox got swept at Citi Field by the Mets 8-3. This is a 4-3 game heading to the bottom of the eighth. And then Kenley Jansen and Rich Hill combined to walk 5 hitters, including 3 straight with the bases loaded. Today's a day off, and then the Red Sox will play the historically bad Chicago White Sox over the weekend. And in tennis, men's top seed Jannik Sinner won yesterday to move into the men's semifinals. American Jessica Pegula upset the women's top seed Iga Swiatek in the women's quarterfinals. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Eastern Massachusetts' leader in drain cleaning and pipelining, Drains by James. Slow drain, clogged drain. You need to contact Drains by James today at drainsbyjames.com. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
No matter where you go, you're always connected to Boston sports with the 98.5 The Sports Hub app. Download it wherever you get your apps today. Now, more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com if you didn't know. I mean, thank you, Fred, for giving me that information. Put in the .com at the end of it. And search for 98.5 The Sports Hub. Kendra, have you been listening to the show today? Kendra
I
Middleton?
listened to like the 10 minutes before I got it.
Oh, you didn't hear my old intern, Sebastian?
I did not.
He's a big success now. He works for The Woody Show, nationally syndicated.
Wow.
Yeah, he's in here.
Congrats to Sebastian.
You know who he credits for that?
Who?
Me.
Nice.
All right. So here's the deal.
That was the proper reaction.
I don't think she's very impressed by that. That's just reading her from over here.
She can't fawn all over me. On air
she's holding back on purpose.
when the mics go off.
Again, obviously.
Like she's being coy.
Come on, Wallach.
Get with it.
Me. My bad.
Jesus, you don't know Kendra at all.
Nope.
She's hiding it all. All right, so here's the deal. This is true, and I wasn't planning on doing this, but I am. So when I am on vacation, I am guilty of being a little narcissistic and occasionally looking to see what's doing. Now, I don't really listen to the show. I really don't. I was walking and I heard the end of the last show with Michael Holley when you were talking about Travis Kelce.
Yes.
And I call that all into question.
Yes.
But I do like occasionally, like I'll go to Twitter and like go like at Toucher and Hardy, and usually it's nothing because like we're not super active on Twitter, which I like. I don't need the interactions on Twitter. They're not good for anyone. But then all of a sudden, when Kendra fills in, there are a million interactions with at Kenny Middleton. Now, why? Is it something she said? No. It's something she did. And what did she do? She obsessively and compulsively wipes down the microphones, and then especially mine, if she's using mine, as if mine was diseased in some way. Now I feel that's obsessive compulsive behavior, that you're indulging a compulsion and that it's completely unnecessary. And also, if I may, cruel to those whose mics you're wiping down. Go ahead.
Wallach is my witness. The last time he watched me wipe down that microphone, how much brown gunk did I pull off of that microphone?
There was a substantial amount of brown gunk.
Okay, but the brown gunk isn't, you're not licking the brown gunk.
I don't want it anywhere near my being.
And by the way, you would have to look at the microphone, like really look at the microphone. When was the last time you guys looked at your microphone?
All the time.
Wallach and I use mic condoms.
Yes.
So we don't have to worry about it as much. But your microphone, up until
I use
recently,
a BS mic that's made out of plastic.
yeah, you keep your underwear up with a piece of elastic.
That's true.
Your microphone, up until when Kendra cleaned it, was one of the most disgusting pieces of equipment I've ever seen
You're
in a radio
welcome.
station.
Well, you know why that would be? Because I never
Because
cleaned
you drink
it.
so much Diet Coke.
No. You know what, Kendra? I stopped because of you.
What are you drinking right now?
I have two.
Stop drinking Diet Coke.
But there's one right next to me right
She
now.
stopped.
You jumped in to make me look bad. What I said is, let me finish. I used to drink 10 a day. I am down to 3.
But you said you stopped, and there's one right there.
You said you literally
The word
said
stopped
I
means
stopped
there shouldn't
drinking
be any Diet Cokes there at all.
Fine. I'm down. I've cut down by 7.
It's like
I'm
when
down
John
to-
Daly said he quit drinking. And it's like he had a beer in his hand. He's like, I thought you said he quit drinking. Jack Daniels, dumbass. This ain't drinking. This is just a barley pop.
I did quit drinking, so leave me alone.
Have you ever had a kidney
Bad
stone?
example. No.
Well, you
But-
better knock on wood.
No, but I was urinating a lot, and it did solve it. And to your credit, 2 things Kendra's taught me, and we're going to get back to her obsessiveness, but 2 things Kendra has taught me is the alternative to soda, that whatever the hell it's called, with the microbes in it, and also not washing your hair often. Because now every female I see, I go, how often do you wash your hair? And they're like, you shouldn't wash it. So now I don't wash my hair all the time. But back to this. Yeah, if you stare at the microphone, and it's a microphone that hasn't been cleaned, it's the same microphone from the old station. I mean, it's a microphone I've been using for 8 years, 20 hours a week. It's going to have crap on it. Like, I don't even know what the crap's from. It's not like I'm picking my nose and wiping it on there or, like, putting my
I
ass
don't know.
on it.
I think that I did pull some boogers off of that microphone. I even said it on the air and maybe Twitter.
There's no way that there was a visible big-ass booger on this thing that I didn't notice. It's all stuff that flew out of my mouth.
I mean, mucus does come out of your mouth sometimes.
It doesn't make it any more desirable. It's like someone, brushing their teeth, never rinsing off the toothbrush, and then waving it in front of your face for a period of time. You wouldn't want that either.
I'm overnighting a mic condom for myself on Amazon right now.
All right, well, because but I think this Felger at least is weird. Like, he's a weirdo. Like, he is, right?
Yes,
with the cleaning,
he has the cucumber hand lotion ready. Yes,
he admits it. He admits, right? He
That's
admits
correct.
that he's got like a kind of OCD situation happening. He's like Howie Mandel, right? He doesn't want you shaking his hand and stuff, I'd imagine.
Do you know the worst case of that I've heard from a celebrity? Jason Bateman was talking about this. And he said when he goes to a restaurant, the first thing he has to do, since he touched the handle of, the restaurant door, is go into the bathroom and wash his hands. All right, comes back, sits down at the table. There's a basket of bread, rolls, right? Takes a roll out, puts it on his plate, then has to go back to the bathroom and wash his hands because he knows somebody took that roll in the kitchen with their hands, put it in the
But
basket.
you're going to eat it anyway.
It's
yeah, but it's like an OCD.
It is an irrational behavior.
Because if you thought about it, going into a public bathroom and touching things, regardless of how much you wash your hands, you're putting fecal matter on your hands.
Well, it doesn't matter how much I wash my hands in this building because you don't.
Well, because everyone else does. I'm with Fred on this. It's why you don't have to take precautions in the bathroom. Should you ever sit down on a public
But
toilet
then he
seat,
touches the
you don't
doorknob
have
and
have to cover the seat. Everyone else does. It's done for you.
I don't even think you have to cover the seat unless you're in a real hellhole.
I'll tell you the one thing.
I don't go to the bathroom in public anyway. Go ahead.
Here's the biggest thing. If there's a tray of cookies out and there's a pair of tongs, the last thing I'll do is grab those tongs. Very skilled. I can pick up one cookie off that tray and put it on my plate and be gone.
Don't play Jenga.
Why would I touch the tongs that everyone else has touched when I can just touch the one cookie that I want?
You won't realize none of this is going to make you sick. None of this is going to make you sick.
It's not a sick thing. It's like a thought process thing.
Okay.
I'm actually being thoughtful when I do that.
No, I
I'm not
understand.
touching those tongs. Someone else is going to touch them. Just let me touch my one
pro
cookie.
immune system.
But you know for a fact this is why kids have so many allergies now, based on prior generations, is my generation's fault raising them is that like the peanut allergy a lot of times is parents being scared to expose their kids at all to peanuts.
Well,
not every case, probably not most cases.
Yeah, I was
but
going to
some.
say, to be fair, a lot of it is, not to get all sciencey here, but a lot of it too is the rise in cesarean sections that also causes you to have fatal food allergies.
Fair enough, but fair enough. But whatever percentage it is, there is a percentage of it that is lack of exposure, and your body does build up immunity based on your exposure to virus and bacteria. That's a fact.
I agree with you.
Well,
I'm just saying it's more so that I sit here and think about you spitting Diet Coke and mucus all over that, and I sit here and have PTSD from crab microphone.
There's not mucus coming out of my mouth all the time. I got news for you. And B, have you ever considered that it's someone's on vacation, and then the next thing you know, there's this
Are you sad that I wiped your microphone down? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get rid of your friends.
No, I'm not sad that you wiped the microphone down. I'm sad that you announced it and made a big deal about it. It hurt my feelings.
And you're on vacation to get your feelings hurt.
I didn't.
Kendra, would you please apologize to Fred?
No, it's too late. It's that you did it anyway.
Fred,
but
there's no statute of limitations on apologies, Kendra.
It's not like I dislike Kendra now. It's just that it hurt my feelings. Maybe it's because I like Kendra that it happened.
I didn't even bring it up.
No. The internet brought it up. You said things on the internet. You made it a whole to-do. You're an influencer. You influence people thinking I'm gross. I'm out there single, and now you're telling girls I'm gross.
How's he going to get a date?
Keep this in
Did
mind.
I get Fred canceled for cleaning his microphone?
Does it affect you? Does it affect you at all that Fred's feelings were hurt?
I'm sorry that your feelings are hurt. I'm
That's
not sorry.
No, that's a terrible apology.
That's a terrible apology.
You don't apology, Kendra. That wasn't very good.
You try that when the next time you F up on air and you can apologize. They will not like that.
Yeah.
The left wing or right wing, they both don't care for that.
Shouldn't your anti-cancel culture self be pro that I'm not apologizing, though?
Just admitted that apology sucked.
No, this is more of like a personal thing. It's not like I'm outraged that somebody disagreeing with me. It's that you hurt my feelings.
Well, to be fair, Wallach's the one that brought it up on the air.
I did bring it up on the air.
So why aren't you asking Wallach for an apology?
Because I was unaware of that.
I did.
Did you not watch the video?
No, I didn't see. I didn't even know there was a video.
Yeah, it wasn't me. It was Wallach.
I mentioned that Kendra was over there doing your microphone and Michael.
Kendra,
yeah, we've established that. Now what? Now what? Now what, Wallach?
Kendra, I
what
apologize.
comes next, Wallach?
That was not Kendra's fault.
Zolak, I have to apologize to Zolak too because I mentioned that we.
Well, I haven't heard an apology to Scott or Fred yet.
Why am I?
Why am I being compared to Scott?
And my apology was crappy, and you're doing the same thing.
I mentioned that someone
Fair enough.
over here wiping that down as well.
New issue. Why am I being compared to Scott Zolak?
Because you're both kind of gross.
No.
Oh, that's completely unfair. That's completely unfair.
Now apologize to Fred.
You worked with both of us.
You apologize to Fred for that.
How many times did you see my balls? Hey,
not nearly.
How many times have I crapped my chair?
None that I know of.
All right, stop it there.
We're even now. You apologize first.
I might be as messed up.
You
What's
apologize.
gross about looking at another man's genitalia?
Nothing. It's
It's
beautiful.
as only as God made him.
I was certainly not offended. I wasn't.
I have a silly story of my mom being here this week. I have a Polaroid of one of my friends' balls on my coffee table with all my other Polaroids.
Sweet.
And my mom
So
picked
do
it
I.
up and was just like, "What is this?" And I told her it was my lifelong best friend's genitalia. And she goes, "Huh, okay." And she just put it down.
So that's
Did
awesome.
you wipe that coffee table down?
Hey, there is a lot of old school porno mags on my coffee table, so I can't
So
really...
you didn't.
What
so-
ones?
I have a ton of old, like
Yeah, but what names?
I have Playboys. I have...
That's not porn.
I have, like, full... I will send you pictures of, like...
Yeah, but are they like weed
Oh,
cherry?
I have full bush.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm not asking what's in them. I'm asking what are the retro names.
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to look at them. But
All
they're
right,
like
very
from
good.
like the 70s. They were my grandfather's.
Really?
Yeah. It was my inheritance.
You
and now
really-
they're my coffee table.
You
Other
really
people
are
keep
from
it-
a very poor
Keep
family.
Ansel Adams coffee table books out. Kendra has.
Hey, I have
her
a Packers
grandfather's
Super
porn.
Bowl sweatshirt
Yeah,
and my
that's-
grandpa's porno mags and a Winston racing hat. That was my inheritance.
You
Are
got
those on the coffee
and
table,
you kept, your grandfather kept the porno mags. Now, these are from the 70s?
Yeah.
And he kept them. And are they like in pristine condition? Because there's a part of your grandfather on every one of them, probably.
Probably. That's fine.
Let's talk about wiping stuff
Yeah,
down.
did you wipe those down?
No.
Okay.
Boy, oh boy.
I found them while we were cleaning out his house.
You're not the germphobe we thought you were.
Hey, I pick and choose.
So I was telling my mom.
Must be convenient.
I was telling my mom, and then we'll get to picks.
Okay.
I was telling my mom when I was last weekend. I'm like, I take these vitamins, and she's like, do you take them all at once? I go, yeah. She goes, how do you do that? I go, at truck stops. I learned at truck stops. She goes, what do you mean? I go, you know what I mean. Servicing dudes. That's my favorite thing with my mom now. Is just make her. So I'd like to borrow that picture of the balls.
Oh man,
Mom, it's about ignoring the gag reflex. You can train yourself to do it. Yeah,
that was my point. I didn't want to, go crazy. Kendra, by the way, is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, which I separate from the other read, which makes me very good at my job. All right, we'll be back. Kendra's got NFL. The NFL starts tonight. It's exciting. She's got a big college matchup, too, with the Texas Longhorns taking on your Michigan Wolverines. We'll be back in just a moment.
More Toucher and Hardy on the way on the Sports Hub.
It's Dan O'Brien for DraftKings, and NFL Week 1 is finally here tonight. A new season means new ways to get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL.
Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 Sports. Kendra Middleton's here. And don't think the irony of her having vintage porn magazines that were owned by other people displayed on her coffee table in her living room and then being obsessed with germs did not occur to me. You cannot say what your theory on it. She had a funny theory on it. But
It's not a theory, it's a fact.
It's inappropriate for the air. Somehow the age of what may be on them is a factor. But what's interesting is Kendra is not the only person that collects vintage porn magazines. You were not in here for this, Hardy, but a certain host of another radio station in the building has a collection of nudie mags from years past.
Not what I would have expected either.
Yeah.
I was in here
guy.
for a portion of it. I know who you're talking.
Because you know, my friend Jay was always a fan, even after the internet, of the tactile. Like he needed to hold the porn. Like if we had gone out drinking, we were going to the liquor store like right before they stopped selling alcohol, and they had like one of them bags of porno bags. He would grab those. He was a fan.
Yeah,
he was like the last one.
Liquor, I barely know her.
Kendra.
On fire this morning.
Kendra.
You really want to waste it on that? I'm not sure that's.
Give it to her.
Oh.
I mean, that is that's not good, Kendra. That's not funny. All right, so here we go. All right, Kendra.
Last time I bought one of those was in Las Vegas. It was probably 1998. And I remember distinctly, it was at the 7-Eleven at Rainbow Boulevard and Vegas Boulevard, and it was about 11 a.m. And I saw one. I'm like, you know what? This is probably going to come in handy here in the next, few nights. And I could not believe the amount of money that it cost. And as I was walking back out to my car with the desert sun shining down in the a.m., mind you, this is late morning, I thought, it's probably the last time I'm ever going to do this, because you kind of take stock of yourself at that moment.
Interesting trivia. How many porno there's an asterisk to it, but how many porno magazines have I bought in my lifetime, including Playboy?
0.
The answer is 0.
Yeah.
Now, the Anna Nicole Smith Playboy, at one point I thought Anna Nicole Smith was the most beautiful woman in the world, like that I'd ever seen. And how things changed. But at one point, like, she was like perfect to me. And the guest ads and everything else, this is, start of the internet. So guess who I had buy the Playboy for me? A girl I knew. I was more comfortable asking the girl to go inside and buy the Playboy for me than I was to buy it for myself. Interesting.
Why?
We got to untie that knot sometime. I don't know. Something's going on. Something not good. Probably some weird reason.
When your burger comes out how you didn't want it cooked, does your date have to tell them that that's not how you ordered it?
What's a date?
Okay.
No. It was the shame of buying the pornography, even though it's not really porn. But whatever. I was embarrassed. I mean, alcoholics go to different liquor stores, so they don't see. They're afraid for the guy behind the counter to know how much they're drinking. That's like a super common thing. So who knows? Who knows what it is? All right. Gambling's a vice, too. You do that.
I do.
All right. The NFL is starting. Well, let's start with college football. College football, the big game this weekend is Texas-Michigan.
Yep.
And what are your theories on this? Hardy is very interested in this game as he despises the Michigan Wolverines.
I do.
So, yeah, then I would get on Texas this week. I know that it has moved to 7.5. If you can find a 7, that would be the play. I would say you could still play up to 7.5, but if you can, wait it out or find a 7, get it. Texas looked really good last week. The fact that they even got to put Archman, I know that Colorado State, I think, is a better team than people give them credit for, which I think is saying something, that Texas steamrolled them and shut them out. And not only did Quinn Ewers looked really good, but, Arch Manning got in and threw, a touchdown pass. I thought they looked really good. I think Michigan has just lost too much. They, lost their quarterback, lost their running back, lost their head coach. That's just a lot to recover from in one season. I get that it's early in the season. Everyone's healthy. It's in Ann Arbor.
Okay. I hear you. I want to believe you. I'm looking at 7.5. I don't like.
Ooh, 7.5. That's a lot.
I don't like Michigan getting 7.5 points at home.
I just
don't like it.
I get it.
Not going to do it.
Okay, so don't.
But you like that.
I like I said, shop for a 7. 7's kind of where I draw the line. I could get to the window on a 7.5. I would wait it out. I get the line moved today or yesterday, but if you can find a 7, I'd hit it.
Okay. And then I have one more college question, and I need you to translate gambling thing for me. All right. Boston College, big win at Florida State. Bill O'Brien's obviously a very good coach. They have a quality college quarterback. Are they for real?
So I said this last week. I think the BC plays up to Florida State whenever they play them.
They did last year, certainly.
Yeah, so I don't. It's more so I think that Florida State really is that bad. I don't put a ton of stock in BC or Georgia Tech yet. Georgia Tech was pretty decent last year. I think that they retained a lot of their talent, and I think that they could be. They won 7 games last year, if I'm not mistaken. I think that they could be an
they have
8.
a good coach.
Yeah, I think that they could be an 8-win team this year. I just wouldn't put too much stock in it yet until you see a little bit more BC football. I think they're going to be better. Do I think that they have a chance at winning that conference this year? No, but I do think that they could be on the come up.
NC State, right?
They didn't. Again,
They looked horrible, but
Yeah.
NC State though is where the money is. Where I put it, that's where I said
big game for NC State this week. If they beat Tennessee, I'll be back in.
They're not beating Tennessee.
I agree, but it's a neutral site game, so that
Tennessee's pretty good.
Tennessee's okay.
But that quarterback.
If-
Well, I don't know. I was just in Knoxville, so my opinion doesn't matter. Go ahead.
If they beat Tennessee, I'm back on the NC State train. If not, I don't know.
All right. Well, that would be bad because I bet a fair amount of money on that, on them winning the ACC. Not winning the ACC. That's a long shot, but on them, they're overs. They're over and wins. All right. So translate this for me. I heard Liv Schatz and Joe on the Joe show yesterday, and Liv Schatz was going on and on and on about Cirque and early number, and I don't understand anything he says.
Okay.
But
I don't speak Dan fluently. But
I'm
I try.
sure it's smart, so that's why I'm asking you to translate. In terms of the New England Cincinnati game, I don't know if you have a big feeling on this, but the trend is Cincinnati's not great opening games.
Correct.
Okay, so just as a gambler in general, how far back do you look at trends, and did they matter to you?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a big trend person. Some of my NFL bets this week are trend worthy. So I would say the Bengals don't traditionally. That is correct on Dan's part. And then I kind of look back at last year when I was looking into the Eagles and everything like that this year, that game. So there is a little bit of a trend up until last year where teams who lost the Super Bowl have a little bit of a hangover in their first week and typically lose that game. I get that the Eagles won against the Patriots in week 1 last year, but they almost lost that game, which is another reason I'm taking the Jets money line against the 49ers this week. So that being said, do I think that the Patriots could cover 8.5? Yes, because of the Bengals, kind of slow start into the season. Am I playing that? Absolutely not.
By the way, just the Jets coaching advantage. I mean,
Sure.
Salah against that
his
fool
old
from
team.
the 49ers. I know, and he knows them, defensive coordinator against his whole team. You just heard Dave Richard talk about it. Go ahead,
I was
John.
just going to say the line has been all over the place on the
What-
Patriots.
Yeah, that started, 9.5?
9.5 went to 7.5,
right
and now it's 8.5.
Yeah.
What's safe and what's not?
I personally am not playing anything in this game unless I get to the window on some props, just because I do think the Patriots defense is going to be their saving grace. And with everything going on with Jamar Chase and his contract. So right before the Bengals game last year, their first game of the season is when Joe Burrow signed that extension. So I do expect Jamar Chase to, I wouldn't rule out there being a deal of some sort before that game kicks off for him.
Mhm.
But just because of the discrepancy there, that's kind of where my question mark is.
But it is interesting for people who haven't been listening that Cincinnati, the reports out of Cincinnati, they're not overly concerned for Jamar Chase's participation in this particular game. It's more the Kansas City game the following week that they're concerned about. Burrow said he's playing, and Chase wore pads yesterday, so I guess that
Burrow,
means something.
If needed. That's the best part of the whole thing. Joe Burrow's like, well, it's great to see him out there if needed.
I have a feeling he'll be in. I don't know anything, but from what I've heard and I've read, I've paid attention to it. For what I've heard, it sounds like he might be in uniform. I'm not positive
year,
if he's getting on the field.
Adam Schefter made a big presentation on Twitter saying last year on opening night, that's when Burrow signed his big contract extension. So here we are opening night again in the NFL. This is where the big push should come.
Sure.
So,
but the way Cincinnati operates, I'm not positive they're not wrong not giving him the money, especially given the way they operate. He's got 2 years left on that deal. All right. Anyway,
If he signs, though, and the price is, semi-right, I could get really to the window on an anytime from him.
well, do you know? Well, the Bengals players have been pretty open about they want him to sign, not because they want Jamar Chase on the team, but because of the precedent it sets with the Bengals.
1,000%.
Yeah, I mean, it's dangerous. I mean, you're giving a guy a new deal that held out with 2 years left on his contract. I'm not positive that's, especially when you're a low-rent organization like Cincinnati, and even their fans would tell you that's the case. Believe me, they know. All right, tonight, is there, and then then you can kind of like tell me what you like just for the weekend, but tonight, it's the first night in the NFL. People want to gamble. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I have the Chiefs to cover 3 points tonight. I get that, that's probably a hot take for some, not for all. Once again, there is a trend of Super Bowl winning teams winning their first game after the Super Bowl, whether they get into trouble after that or not. It depends on the season you want to look at, how far you want to go back in the trend, whatever. Therefore, I am on the Chiefs. I think that they made some really good moves this offseason, but my biggest kind of favorite thing that they did was bring in Xavier Worthy. So I do have Xavier Worthy for an anytime touchdown tonight as well. So I get that I have a Super Bowl future on the Ravens. I love the Ravens this year. I don't think that Kansas City three-peats, but I do think that the Ravens are going to lose this game. But I have the Chiefs to cover, and I have an Xavier Worthy anytime touchdown. I would say if you're going to do anything, the Xavier Worthy anytime is plus 180 right now. So get in on it while you can.
Okay, and over the course of the weekend, what are you a fan of?
So I've also got the Eagles to cover too. I think that is my favorite play of the week. I think I get that the people are really high on the Packers. I get that Jordan Love just signed this deal. I don't think he's looked the best in camp and preseason or anything like that. I think that he looks to be struggling a little bit. The Packers are really young. Everyone's healthy. I love the addition of Saquon Barkley. I love the way the Eagles have drafted the last couple of years. I think that they're really deep at a lot of positions. So I really like the Eagles to cover, especially at a neutral site location. I also, like I said, have the Jets money line because of that trend. And then one of my other favorite plays, I learned yesterday that Jalen Ramsey might be struggling with a hamstring against the Jags. So I like Brian Thomas Jr. plus 280 for an anytime touchdown. Him and Trevor Lawrence have had a lot of really good connections in the preseason. He's an incredible route runner. He knows how to high point the ball like anybody. And if Jalen Ramsey is even slightly hurt, they lost Xavier Howard in that secondary this offseason. I think that they took a huge hit there. So you're going to either have to pick Christian Kirk or Evan Ingram. It really opens up for BTJ to go out there.
Someone's
and I think that
Jaguars fan. Someone's done some research.
Well, the thing is that I think week one is when you like the Xavier Worthy play. I think week one is when quarterbacks need to go out there and get their rookie receivers, tight ends, confidence all the way through the roof because that sets the precedent for the rest of the season.
So he was. I'm glad to hear you say that he was part of this 6-leg parlay that I got. It was. Well, I mean, no, but it was one of these like
I know.
Super deals that FanDuel has right now. And it's like the payout is incredible. They've got and the week one stuff. There's so much fun stuff out there. FanDuel's got the Mahomes-Jackson combo for 450 yards that they're giving plus 120 on.
No,
like okay, there's like a limit on it. You can't bet $1 million on it, but it's like, all right, they're giving you a few things here, but the Worthy one is interesting. That's part of something else. There's other things out there in these first games where you're going to look for. You got to look for value in these places because the lines, as we said earlier, the biggest line of the week is the Patriots game. There's no like huge dog out there that you can say, oh, they're going to be able to cover that. 8.5 points is the biggest line out there, I think, for the entire weekend.
Week one is an opportunity for a lot of chaos. We saw that with college football as well. I get that it's not the same thing, but I think that the chaos factor translates really well. But I really love any kind of rookie props week one. I think that a quarterback propping up a young guy is so important in week one. I really do, especially if for some reason they've had, a good camp or preseason or anything like that. Like, this is your opportunity. If you don't do it now, their confidence goes down and down and down every week that they don't have major production.
That's a good one. All right, good.
All right, well, Kendra
Rookie
Middleton,
props.
there you have it. You will be able to hear her Saturday morning along with Dan Livshatz. 7 to 9, the Bankroll Bunch are on there. And Kendra, where do people find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at Kendra Middleton. I gave out a bunch of pics with my dog over there yesterday, and you can find me at Kenny Middleton with an I on Twitter. I've really been pumping out the content lately. So
she's been pumping out content and pumping out disparaging things, but unfairly accused by me. Wallach was the perpetrator.
Hardy.
Making it public. Go ahead, Artie.
No, she's been pumping out the content lately. I didn't say anything.
Bonk!
If I were going to say anything like what outfit to the Red Sox game, that's the stuff you can't miss out on. If you don't want to miss that.
I'm trying to heighten my female audience, Hardy.
Okay, all right.
I want
to
more
make,
nice girls.
I want to make people mindful of the type of content.
Hey,
That's
I
all.
put out pics yesterday. My sister-in-law sent me a video because if you follow me, you know that I love pickles. She sent me that Grillo's Pickles did a pop-up with pickled grapes. So I'm going to try some pickled grapes on Instagram.
Oh, well, Jesus. Now, I mean, look out Instagram. But, hey.
Break the internet.
Yeah.
Are real quick, because 30 seconds, are the two walking ladies still fighting?
I don't think they're fighting, but I wish that they would be friends.
Don't we all? Can't we have peace with at least the walking bet ladies?
Yeah.
They're both attractive.
Hey, it should get you back on Twitter.
No. I just have the account that I
Wallach-
attack my enemies with.
I'm fascinated by the two of them. I am. I will admit it. Fascinated. The woman, what's her name that lives in the South?
She lives in Arizona. Her name's Taylor.
Taylor. Makes no bones about it. Here I am. This is it. Let's go.
Why? I mean, come on. And why shouldn't she? She's very attractive. I mean, it fills a niche. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
Fills the picture frame.
Yes, it does.
Well,
Talk about pumping out content, Horty.
No, not him. He don't care for that. That's too showy.
Got him.
No, we did a whole bracket on this.
He
Fred
doesn't
speaks
care
the
for that.
truth. He has
He's
no
so
interest.
mad at me right now.
No, he's not.
No, not really.
I don't think he's. I don't even know what's going on between you guys. There's.
I thought that was over. I thought.
No. I know. I just.
We're friends.
I'm not
Kendra
even
and I
saying
are like besties.
I don't even know what you're talking about. All right, we'll be back with the stack in just a moment.
Sports Hub headlines.
The Patriots open up their regular season Sunday in Cincinnati.
with FanDuel. The Stack is brought to you by Best Ford in Nashua. Looking for great deals on new Fords? Go to The Best First, Best Ford in Nashua. Head to thebestford.com. Real quick, it is official. NoFX played their final New England shows in Brockton over the weekend. And the mayor of the city of Brockton, Massachusetts, Robert F. Sullivan, has declared September 1st as NoFX Day. The celebration coincides with NoFX playing the city during their final tour. Quote, "We recognize this momentous event as a testament to NoFX's legacy and the vibrant spirit of punk rock," the proclamation states. And so that's not very nice. I wish I could have been at that last NoFX show. You know who was there? Our own Mike Lockhart.
Yeah.
And, that was a band that couldn't tour for a while because of comments they made from the stage in Las Vegas. They were blackballed from touring, so they had to be off the road for a year. And now they're getting as rightly forgiven.
Okay,
They're given-
this is an honest question. Whatever they said on stage, I don't remember. Did they apologize for it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Was it something that you deemed needed an apology?
That's a completely unfair thing because I don't really get offended by much.
Okay. All right.
I don't get personally offended by things that aren't about me or my family very often.
Okay, but is it something that in society you're like, I can see why they apologize for saying that if they did?
If we said it, we'd be in big trouble.
Okay. All right.
It was about, I can say what it was about.
Sure.
It was about, they were in Vegas and it was like a joke about the Vegas shooting. They said, at least this isn't a country concert or something like that. Because they joke around in between songs.
No.
And so anyway, that caught fire. And then they were they pulled, no one would book them for a year.
Gotcha. Okay.
But now they're touring in front of big audiences. They've done their penance.
All right, Fred. We're going to play a game of Stop Me When You Hear It. Okay? This is the New England Patriots official hype video. You can stop me when you can identify the voice of the narrator, if you don't already know.
I don't know.
And then just stop me when you hear it with a capital I.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
So you're a Patriots fan who's been living under a rock since January? How about a little off-season catch-up real quick?
Do you know who the voice is?
I do.
Okay. I'll give you some more.
Because 2024, it's already been a ride.
Is
a lot.
It's not someone who works here.
No.
No. I'll tell you who it is because this isn't what I want you to be listening for.
Okay.
It's Bill Burr.
Yeah.
Bill Burr is narrating the hype video for the New England Patriots, okay?
Yeah.
Stop me when you hear it.
Yep, a lot has changed since we watched Matthew Slater walk off the field for the last time. We said goodbye to the great hoodie and hello to a familiar face to take over with a familiar name to help him.
And I wanted to win the right way with Gerard and the staff.
We kept around friends.
You draft, you develop, and you re-sign.
We kept around family.
Hachi
Whoa! How about that?
How much you getting for that?
the goose egg, baby. First I'm hearing it.
They just own us?
Apparently.
Wow.
How about that?
Wait a second. First you're hearing it. You knew who it was.
I knew Bill Burr.
He didn't know he was in.
I didn't know I was in
the
it.
audio.
You hadn't seen this?
No.
You haven't heard this?
No.
I don't even know where you saw it.
Let's listen to it again on the Twitter machine.
Okay.
Jim Louth sent it to me last night. Jim Louth probably had an alert that woke him up when a Patriots hype video was released.
Yeah.
If you don't know, all the lights, the blinds go up in his bedroom. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Jim Louth likes the Patriots.
A little bit.
Jim Louth has a hoodie that just says sports.
No, Jim Louth has a throwback John Hannah jersey. That's who Jim Louth is, right?
I mean, I have an Altoon jersey. Let's not.
John Hannah is a guard.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yes, he is.
He's an icon in several states, in Alabama and in New England. All right, go ahead.
With Gerard and the staff.
We kept around friends.
You draft, you develop, and you re-sign.
We kept around family.
He was doing my take.
Oh. That's right. That's a case of the stolen take, and then Wallach gets in the hype video. How jealous are you right now, Fred?
Why didn't
Wallach's
they play
in the hype
me
video.
3 years ago when they were going crazy with the bad free agents? I mean, that's what I was saying 3 years ago.
We kept around friends.
You draft, you develop, and you re-sign.
We kept around family. Added some coaches to lead them, and we forged a new foundation.
How you like them apples?
We figured out our schedule and renewed our passports.
New England Patriots select Drake May.
We took a quarterback from UNC, 3rd overall, gave him a few pass catchers, and a...
Did?
Yeah, who?
Have Fred in the
This
hype
is-
video.
this
What
is-
the hell are you spending all this money for?
I can imagine the look on Burr's face when he was ready. They gave him a few pass catchers.
You know why they can't? Why they pick John Vanilla? No one's going to raise any red flags. Is it a video of him? Did
No.
they show him saying it?
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
and a couple of guys to protect him.
Who? They're really.
What's waiver wire? This video was made post waiver wire.
Hang on a second though. But just like obviously they didn't do much. But isn't it funny? Like, and a couple guys to protect them. Oh, thanks. Well, that's awesome.
A couple of guys.
Where can I buy season tickets?
Yeah, there was a guy on defense in there, too. Then we saw some exciting faces.
What?
I don't know.
It's not selling it. Well, they're not overselling. That I can tell you.
Yeah, there was a guy on defense in there, too. Then we saw some exciting faces back on the field this spring. A nice little reminder that not all is lost in New England.
Set the tone.
We locked in. We locked all the way in.
I came to come to work today.
We sent the goat off in style with the party for the ages, celebrating just how special the last 20 years of kicking everyone's ass was.
I am Tom Brady, and I am a Patriot.
That history is ours forever, and its lessons won't be forgotten.
Hard work works, and that's what we're all about.
Now a new day begins in Foxborough, a new team and a new chapter, but the goal remains the same. Are you with us?
Yeah,
LFG! I'm going to run through a wall!
What goal?
Let's go!
So the strategy obviously is like have faith in us. Remember how good we were. Yes. Like we'll get this going again, which is not stupid. I mean, they didn't oversell. They didn't say like, "Hey, look, we got it." They said that we got Drake May, which is the only story, and then they said, "Remember, we had this 20-year run. We're starting over, and have faith in us to do it again."
Truth be told, there's a very narrow path to make this good. There isn't really much.
I think it was
hyped
fine.
about,
and I think the addition of Wallach. I mean, you know, the show's very successful. You get the Wallaholics in there.
Damn right.
I mean, he's selling tickets on his own.
You draft, you develop, and you re-sign.
Yeah, you pick up the gum, the scraps, you build the nest.
Yeah, it's too bad.
You draft, you develop, and you re-sign.
That's what you do. That's what you do.
I can't believe you guys didn't think of putting bird noises in there.
It's such a quick clip.
Now look, and Bill Burr's the guy I'd want to narrate it too. I mean,
Yeah,
he's kind of one of the cooler people that has become famous from the area.
Canton
I don't have
Bill
any problem
Burr.
with anything the Patriots are doing, to be honest with you. I think everyone's complaints are unfounded. I think this is what you do. All right, that'll do it for us. Everyone have a great day. Bye.